dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Podcast, episode 180.
You all right?
I'm good. I'm excited.
You're always excited.
Well, been wheeling. I'm still trail hero hangover mode.
Well, I was counting the number of vacation days you've taken this year, and
don't you worry about it.
There's not enough space on my
you
worksheet.
either it says right on my checks, and yes, I still have to write some checks occasionally, but on the checks it says I work to live, not live to work.
I know,
and that's been my motto: work hard, play harder, and I'm enjoying life, man. Making it happen.
I've just never seen an Excel spreadsheet run out of memory.
Yeah, there's some exceptional people that we know that we go wheeling with, and it's been a blast. So, anyways, players going to play, haters going to hate.
Oh, well, there you go. What are you drinking?
That is a Knob Creek. Where is it? Well, it went over there. You took it. Knob Creek straight bourbon, single barrel, very, very good, actually.
Does not suck. I believe I picked this up in Minden, actually.
Yeah, I've been making the Knob Creek rye Manhattans and old fashions, and that's been a good one because you can get Knob Creek rye, the $25, $29, not too bad. At Safeway, and it is some good bourbon, good whiskey, I should say. The rye is not a bourbon because we talk about that on the podcast. Correct. If you listen to this podcast, but so trying this one out, 100 proof.
100 proof.
Yeah, it's got a little. It doesn't taste like it's not hot like 100 proof, but it's got a little hoo-ha to it.
Yeah.
So needle and thread. Here we go.
That's right.
We've got a lot to go over here. I've got a lot to go over. People want to know
what the hell have we been doing
about Slickrock. You actually went wheeling. You got a birthday cake and everything.
A wheeling cake.
A wheeling cake. You got a wheeling cake. Did it have one of those candles that you blow out and then it reignites?
No, we didn't light the candle because we were afraid of starting a forest fire.
Oh, well, there you go. California. You're being very California conscious. We like that here. That's good, Chris.
I don't think you even buy one of those relighting candles in California. They're probably
not. They're probably illegal. They're banned with straws.
No engine swaps. Yeah. No relighting candles, and no
def deletes. No.
No deletes. No nothing. Pretty soon we're not going to be able to buy bourbon either. I don't know, but
stop it. That's why I'm moving out of the state. So just stop with that crazy talk. So
that's right. I went wheeling on Slickrock.
Let's get a little business out of the way because it's been a while since we've done just a podcast you and I update.
Yeah.
So let's get a little business taken care of here because we need to thank our Barrel Society members.
And the patrons that are still out there.
Well, there are a few patrons hanging on that are converting over to Barrel Society, but Irate 4x4 is where you can sign up on the Barrel Society page there.
That's correct. Irate 4x4 is where we're hosted now.
That's where we live now.
Where we live, and Austin has done a great job creating that webpage, recreating what used to be and what is now Irate 4x4.
Correct.
And so he's kind enough to have presented us with an opportunity to move away from the Patreon platform, which had its issues, to the Irate 4x4 platform, which operates through PayPal.
Yes.
So, through a spreadsheet now, it's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more behind the scenes work for us to track our members. But I do, first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you. Jason and I want to thank each and every one of you
and Lorenzo.
Correct, for your support of the show. Without your support, this show would be a little bit different. We wouldn't have the technology,
a lot different.
And instead of everything coming out of our pockets, it's being supported by you, all of you, which is great.
We'd be speaking into tin cans with strings.
The sound quality might not be quite that bad, but
so anyways, it's been good, and we just got that new Zoom podcaster. What do you call that thing?
The pod track.
The pod track.
Which you put through its paces down at Trail Hero.
Dude, we worked that thing hard down there. And we combated the lack of battery power with a backup battery pack that I got in there. So, that worked out well until it didn't when we were recording with Dave Wong. We, meaning Lorenzo and I. And, actually, you were there.
I was.
If you listen to the last episode. That was freaking hilarious.
That's right.
But I had the battery pack hooked up, but it wasn't on.
You didn't hit the on button.
It wasn't on. The battery pack wasn't on. I mean, who knew? You got to turn the battery pack on. Okay, what kind of Tesla bullshit is this?
It's just basically Jason telling me I need to be everywhere with
you
him.
Do. You're our techno guy. I self-admit I do not know this electronic technology. I know enough to be dangerous, and that's where it stops right there for me. So that is not my strong point. And obviously, when you're not there, we have issues, and then we're clipping. We got all kinds of freaking sound issues, and so you just need to be there.
Everything can be overcome. I mean, it's the thing about technology is it's changing so rapidly, and I mean, looking at whatever. We're not going to get into a big diatribe about that, but needless to say, and the bottom line is, without the patrons and the Barrel Society members supporting the show, things would be a little bit different.
It'd be a lot different.
And
so thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
From the bottom of our hearts. And Lorenzo is given a tail wag and a high hoof.
High hoof.
Not the flip off hoof. It's the high hoof.
No, he's celebrating.
Yeah.
Because he gets porridge every night now, and it's all good.
Porridge. I didn't know donkeys eat porridge. Do you eat porridge, Lorenzo?
Loves it.
He's shaking his head. You don't even know what you're talking about.
It's hydrated
Chris.
with bourbon.
Jeez. Okay.
But we also have some anniversaries to announce. I know we've been a little bit remiss, and we'd like to,
let's get caught up here.
Say some names of some of our patrons that have been loyal to us for the last, almost some of them are going to be 3 years.
3 years. This is amazing. 3 years. Still just blows me away.
So right now, number one on the list here is Lenny LePage.
Lenny, the Rock Ranger.
The Rock Ranger.
Green Ranger.
Green Ranger, absolutely. Then following right behind him is Aaron Russell. That's ARRON.
ARR, not AARN.
He's one of our Australian guys.
Yes. We have a lot of support in Australia. It's awesome.
Right. That's right. Quite a few listeners there, and we appreciate every one of you.
You know how Wheaties does a celebrity, on their cereal box, they do a celebrity picture,
like Michael Jordan.
So I've been contacted by Vegemite that they want our pictures on a Vegemite label. Yeah. I turned them down.
You still have that Vegemite?
I do still have that Vegemite. I ran across it this morning, by the way. I was out of coffee and I'm digging in my cabinet.
What's the expiration date on that? Is it like a Twinkie? I don't think
there is. It's like a Twinkie. It's an infinite. And I ran across the Vegemite, and I'm like, oh, my God, I just started laughing. So anyways, go on.
All right. And then we have Brian Dittmer.
Brian Dittmer.
No, say it faster. Brian Dittmer.
Dimmer. Yeah, we missed him. He was supposed to go to Trail Hero. He couldn't make it.
He and I were hanging out.
Yeah. But
in the corner. With our dunce caps.
He will be there next year because Dave Code went from Code Nolson Law Firm, and he had a blast. So he's telling these guys that missed out, Jesse and Brian, this year that you need to go. So yeah, Tom's been there. So
Tom
he
has
knows.
been there. Yeah, and then of course Eddie. He's been one of our most loyal patrons for years.
Early on. Thank you, Eddie.
Dear friend of ours for many years.
Yeah.
And I've rescued him a couple times. We as a collective have rescued him a couple times. So he keeps throwing back
and
towards
he keeps us fed. So
that's true.
Eddie does a great job at Adopt a Trail dinners. So thank you, Eddie.
That's right. Then of course, let's never forget Frank and Valerie Gillespie.
Oh yeah, the Gillespies. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for your support.
Freaking awesome.
And then here we go.
Uh-oh.
Rhonda.
What, the Davenports?
Yes, sir.
Or Davenport? It's just Rhonda, right?
I don't know. Rhonda. James is next month.
Yeah, see? They're separate.
I don't know what's up with that. But
they have separate banking accounts because James would spend all his money on buggies if they didn't. They wouldn't be able to eat. So Rhonda's a responsible one.
Rhonda's a responsible one. So thank you, Rhonda. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Lady Samurai.
And then we've got Shanice Vera.
Yeah.
Thank you for your support. Awesome. And then
So good.
Rodney.
What? Hot Rod?
Hot Rod Rodney.
The latte maker?
Latte machine
Latte
Rodney.
Rod. Yeah, good. He's got a new GIF out now.
Yeah, he
Thanks
does.
to,
And new stickers. You should probably
Brian
hit
Murphy
him up.
and new stickers with the snail trail, the snail getting run over by the latte machine.
Look him up on the gram and tell him you want a
R.O.
sticker.
Moeller, but
it's
it's like R with a 0, not the O is not an O, it's a 0. So R0 Moeller.
That's right.
And you'll hit the latte machine there. But that's awesome. Is that it?
No, we got one more.
Oh, we got one more. Here we go.
Yeah, Michael Klein.
Michael Klein. Now, is this the Michael Klein that we know or the Michael Klein that's back east?
This is the Michael Klein we know, the local guy.
Oh, this is local Mike Klein. Okay.
Trucker,
All right.
big rig trucker.
Big rig driver.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Smokey and the Bandit shit right
Smokey
there.
and the Bandit. Hey,
Good job, Mike.
Speaking of Smokey and the Bandit, somebody
boy.
posted a picture of Sheriff Buford Justice with his son with the cart top ripped off with a few one of those big signs for a gas station in the background.
Yeah.
What do you think that price of the
the
diesel
price of was it diesel?
It was diesel.
Yeah, it was diesel. It was under $1.
It was a lot under.
It was a lot under $1. It was like 49 cents.
Could you imagine?
49 cents.
Could you imagine the world today if it was 49 cents a gallon?
$6.59 this morning. $6.59. 9. Bullshit.
That's just nuts, man.
You know, I made that post when we crossed into Las Vegas, Nevada. Got out of Las Vegas, Nevada, and there was a Maverick station there that we stopped to refuel.
Maverick.
And it was like $4.69 a gallon. So, yeah. And then I put that post up the story. I just said, apparently it's cheaper to make diesel in Las Vegas.
Oh,
We just don't have all the taxes,
taxes
in Nevada as California just reaming us here. Anyways, that's a whole nother podcast.
That is a whole other podcast. So anyway, thank you so much to all of our patrons, Michael.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thank you so much for the support and keeping us going here because, financially it's a toll, man. And we appreciate every little bit. It goes back into the podcast.
Help support the podcast because, bandwidth costs money.
Yeah, so. And Lorenzo is not seeing any of that money anymore. So that's right, Lorenzo.
We took him off. We changed banks and we took him off the list.
We took him off the drip, the IV Wheeling Wine and Whiskey drip there. So yeah.
How often did he come out of the camper down the trail here? Are you going to talk about that?
Yeah, I know, quite a bit. He was out and about. He was very, very popular and asked for. It's like, Wheeling Wine and Whiskey's here. Jason, how you doing? Where's Lorenzo?
Did he hook up?
Yeah. I don't know. He was gone out in the... I did see him wander up the hillside one night.
Were there just like random asses all over the place?
There were random asses all over our camp and up the hillside for sure. So, yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. Yeah.
Got to watch out for that random ass.
All right. Well, on that note, let's before I get into Trail Hero, because that's going to be a lengthy one, let's get into people want to know and want to hear about your wheeling trip. You actually took the Jeep out, and went on a trail. It was documented by Rodney Moeller, JL Latte Rodney,
and Lee Lim.
And Lee Lim was there with his crew.
Me.
Well, he should.
No.
He's out wheeling every weekend, so. Let's hear about this Slickrock.
Does Lee actually
recap.
have a job?
He does.
Oh,
yeah, he does. There's people that can work and play. So
I guess. So I had the opportunity. You were already down enjoying your time down at Trail Hero. So Saturday, I had made plans with Latte Rodney to make a quick day run up to Slickrock.
Yes.
And, obviously prior to that, I have to go and blow the dust off the Jeep and empty it out because it's a storage bin at this point.
Yeah. It's a workbench, a rolling workbench.
Make sure the tires were still aired down from Spring Clinic.
That's May.
Which was last May, correct. But I did a quick nut and bolt on it, checked the oil level, and, obviously the thing's on a trickle charger, so the battery was fully charged.
Okay.
Brought the trailer home on Friday afternoon, threw the Jeep up on the trailer so I could have a nice early Saturday morning departure because it's a 2.5 hour drive.
That's right. So you left Saturday morning.
Absolutely. Saturday morning,
Okay.
dark 30, blasted out of the driveway, headed up to the Sierras, which Highway 4, going up towards Angels Camp, Arnold, and continuing eastward up towards Bear Valley Ski Resort and just past. Actually, Rodney and I rendezvoused in Angels Camp. That's the beauty of the ham radio, right? You can meet. We were able to just when we were farther away. When I was in Copperopolis, I was able to call him on the cell phone and tell him I'm going to be, in Angels Camp in 25 minutes or whatever. So he met me in Angels Camp, and then we caravan the rest of the way up to the trailhead.
Okay.
And I was towing, so found a parking spot. There's that. I don't know if you remember that campground, 1,000 yards before the turnoff.
Yeah.
It might not even be that
wide
far.
Open lot.
Yeah, wide open lot with a bathroom and everything.
Yep.
So parked the trailer there, unloaded the rig, and then checked tire pressures. Rodney had to air down.
Down for what?
Air down for what? Which is funny because he's on 37. So if you don't know, I'm sure you've heard, but Rodney has I don't know what year it is, but it's a JL, so it's the latest generation Wrangler, 4-door, so the long wheelbase, and he's got 37s with a moderate lift. I think a 2.5 inch lift or something, but he's pretty much stock otherwise. He's got a winch and it's a Rubicon, so it's got the lockers front and rear. But he aired down, I believe, to 16.
Okay.
On the factory rims with his 37s. He's got those Patagonia, Milestar Patagonias,
right?
Which a lot of overlanders are raving about. And I know that Tyler with Wheeling Wine, not with the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, with Snail Trail
Really?
was running those until he sliced it. Is that the ones he sliced the sidewalls open on?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Good ending to him. Anyway, so we hung out in the parking lot for a minute while we adjusted our tire pressures. I aired down a little bit more because I knew that the trail was going to be a little bit. I've heard, I was on the new bypass or reroute.
Reroute.
Because it's official. It's a reroute.
Is it the re-rim reroute?
Reroute. There's no using the old route, so it's the trail now.
Yeah, I know. It's good.
And so you got the rock pile, and then at that area, I knew it was going to be a little gnarly, but because that was where CJ with a CJ broke his shit. About a year ago? When he took that gnarly line going down basically straight down.
Yeah, and hit the radiator.
Right.
Fan went into the radiator.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I knew I wasn't going to go that way. And that area looked super gnarly now.
It was.
I mean, it's mega dug out. But anyway, the Jeep did great. We got on trail. We took some photographs right there at the signs. Took the token photos, the poser photos, whatever.
Nice. And
then proceeded. So it was just Rodney and myself. We proceeded up the trail, starting at Lake Alpine, and we immediately get to that rock pile on the new section they call the Gauntlet.
The Gauntlet.
And drove. I mean, like I said, the Jeep, and I will fully admit that I'm a little rusty on the hardcore rock crawling, or even just the moderate rock crawling.
Okay.
But that first obstacle, Rodney was in front. He climbed right up it, and I was right behind him, went right straight up it, and then you bang that hard left to start working your way towards which is an off camber. And then you start to creep, through the trail, through that new reroute. And that first section is kind of the teaser, the taste. I mean, it's a little bit of a challenge, and it'll get your attention, but it's not that bad. And then you kind of bop along for a moment, and then you get to this legit area. That's where CJ broke his rig.
Yeah, it's the Gauntlet.
And that
it's like a winch hill.
It's fuck, man. It's like, and we were going downhill, and we got out, we shut our race down and walked down it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go this line here. This is how I'm going to go. And then you go off so as you come up to the obstacle, you go off to the right side, and then you descend through these two rocks. It's not a V-notch, but it's walled off, if you will.
Right.
And then you start your descent. And then you're crawling along, and I think there was some videos posted on YouTube or Instagram from Rodney about it. And then you get to the bottom, and you got to make this hard freaking right turn. And I made an Austin Powers turn. It was like, I don't know, 15-point turn, something like that, to finally get myself lined up. And once I was lined up, then you got that narrow, there's two lines. You got. No, there's really kind of one line now that I think about it. You've got this giant 3.5 foot, 4 foot drop off that you need to negotiate. But while you're doing that, you really should be, and I took the lead at this point, you really should be, after you fall off that 3.5 or 4 foot ledge, you need to start working your way to the right, to the passenger side. Well, I didn't. So I'm kind of, it's like I have no spotter. I'm just kind of blinding it, and I kind of chugging along, and then I come down that 4 foot drop, and then I'm moving along, and I didn't start moving right, and I didn't realize there was another hole just after this pretty big rock under my front driver tire,
okay.
And I slid off of that, and I slammed down on my driver's slider. And I'm like, oh, that got my attention. And I'm like, I'm kind of turtled for a second there. I'm like, okay, well, let me see if I can lock up. So I engaged my rear and front lockers, and the passenger side tire still had traction. So I finally start chugging forward again. But man, the scraping sounds were impressive.
Nice. Welcome back to four-wheeling, Chris.
I have beautiful new scars on my sliders on the driver's side that are just epic. So I chugged through that, and that's the end of the gauntlet, if you will.
Gauntlet.
You get through there. Going downhill, you get through there, and you just kind of, a little bit of a rock garden, nothing major, and then you get to dirt. So I got to the bottom, and I jumped out of the rig, and I'm like, woo, that was cool. And so now Rodney's behind me coming down, and he's, much longer, much wider than I am. And I'm like, holy shit. So here we go. And I'm spotting him, and I took video, and I'll try to get that video posted at some point, either on the gram or probably on the gram, or I'll get it to you probably.
Something.
Whatever. Anyway, so he's coming down. I'm videoing and spotting him. So a couple times the camera was like, I was not paying attention to the camera, so it sagged a little bit, so it's showing my feet. But you get the gist. He did really well because I was directing him where I was supposed to start working driver or passenger, and I didn't. I was actually having him work passenger, and he came down. It was like butter. He just, no issues, no scraping. Well, a little bit of scraping, probably on his lower control arms, but
he works that rig pretty well.
Yeah. No, and he came through no problem whatsoever. So you get to the bottom. He got to the bottom. We kind of got out of our race and said congratulations to each other, and then we had a drink of water, and then we continued on. So, but then at that point, that's where you realize that's where the old trailhead is, right there at the bottom.
Yes, that's correct.
Where you would usually air down, right? You see that little fence, the barbed wire fence or the chain link, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So. And I'm like, oh, this is all familiar to me now, because I've driven that trail numerous times, and the evolution of my Jeep on that trail has been the first I drove that. That's believe it or not, Slickrock Trail is the first trail I've ever driven on that Jeep as a rock crawler. Okay. I did that, I don't know how many years ago. My oldest son was probably 10, maybe younger than that. And my Jeep had 31s and was open. I think I had a limited slip in the rear at that point. And I did the trail from so I did the trail uphill, but there was no reroute at that point.
Right.
So anyway, and then I've done the trail on 33s locked and now 35s locked. And needless to say, the Jeep has evolved and the trail has evolved.
Yeah.
But
for sure. It got better. So this is interesting because most reroutes, and the reason why this beginning of the trail was rerouted is because of private property.
correct.
And the property owner is not four-wheel friendly. We'll leave it at that.
No, he wants his privacy.
Whatever. But so most reroutes, that you lose some great spots of the trail and it gets easier or whatever. This is one of the exceptions that this trail improved 100, maybe 200%.
Oh, agreed.
By having, there's like 3 really good rock crawling sections now. The first 2 are optional. The third section, the Gauntlet that you referred to, is non-optional. It's everybody's got to go through that if you're going to do the trail now.
It's legit.
And it is legit. And it is so cool because before Slickrock was like a beautiful trail up in the Sierras there off of Highway 4 just past our adopted trails. And the ending of the trail, the stair steps, which I know you're going to get into, was like the highlight of the trail.
Correct.
Well, now it's like the beginning, and then you've got some cool shit in the middle that's always been there, and scenery has always been there, and then the stair steps at the end. So it improved this trail immensely. So go on. I just had to interject that. It's
absolutely.
It's a cool section. I'm glad you got to drive it because you've ridden it a few times, but now you get to drive it.
I've driven it at least 4 times. I mean, and ridden it probably twice. But I mean, and I know one of them was with you. Well, probably twice with you.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, one of my favorite parts on that trail, quite honestly, is not long after the Gauntlet when you come out by the river.
Right.
I mean that area it's a great camping spot.
Awesome lunch
And
spot.
fuck, it's beautiful. That
Remember when we did that in the snow, that one Oktoberfest, and it was fresh snow. That was super cool.
That's a whole nother element,
Literally.
right there. So, but that's a beaut, and we stopped there for a minute to take it in, and you let Rodney had his dog Mingus with him. So
really, brought
needed,
the trail pup.
The dog needed a little bit of a drink, so went over to the creek and imbibed. But we continued on, and the trails, gets real again. Not long after that,
Yes.
you kind of start dropping down into that
Some off camber granite slab
with on the big wall on your right side as you're going downhill, and man, I'll tell you that area. I got wicked high on the passenger side, so I was low on the driver's side, and I'm like, woo. This is catching my attention, but super fun, great traction, nothing gnarly and nothing crazy, but you weren't going to roll over there unless you really got stupid. But continuing on, you just keep going downhill. Gravity's your friend. But I will say that the areas that used to be pretty easy have gotten filled in with some pretty gnarly rocks. There's an area not too far from that wall section, just as you start after the river.
Okay.
That it opens up, and there was a group of 5 or 6 Jeeps coming up the trail that Rodney and I pulled off to the side to let them pass by, and they actually stopped and we chatted for a few minutes, and they're like, man, this area is gnarly just below here. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to be okay. And I'm like, we're gonna be fine. It's all good. And I'm thinking, and these guys are built. I mean, they're on like 38s and 40s and tons and shit like that, and but they're all long wheelbase four-door Rubicons. And there was one CJ7 in the group he was on ORIs and linked, and he was badass. I mean, that rig was built, but he was the one that seemed to be having the biggest problem, and I don't know if he was taking some crazy ass lines or what was going on because he was out of sight. But anyway, we hung out for a few minutes. I handed out some stickers and
good.
And they said, "Oh yeah, love." And I guess one of them, they actually were talking. They were camping down by the reservoir on the other end of the trail, and they were talking about people that had a Gladiator and a bunch of Land Cruisers and stuff. And we're like, "Oh, we might know who you were talking to." And I said, "Yeah, I'm Chris of Wheel and Wine Whiskey." "Oh yeah, we've heard of your show. These guys down at the other end of the trail we're talking about you last night."
That was Lee Lim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
nice. So they were on the other end of the trail beyond the stair steps. Yeah.
Correct. So handed out some stickers. Hopefully, a shout out to you guys if you're listening to the show now. Can't remember exactly the name of the group you were with, but I should have taken some notes. But
yeah.
Super
Chris was
appreciate.
so excited to be out wheeling again. See,
exactly. So anyway, we parted ways and continued down the trail. Rodney was in front at that point, and he was, crawling slow, and I'm kind of like, pick up the pace, dude. But he was being careful and cautious, which is good. But that section just past where we rendezvoused with that other group was legit. There was some giant freaking boulders that were in the middle of the trail that required you to, take either right line or left line.
Okay.
You couldn't straddle it. You had no option. And I think I took a picture at that point of one of my tires. I was way up wedged on the wall with my driver front and climbing over it. And the rocks were super sharp and it was narrow and it was like a squeeze rock almost.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is not the way I remember this trail being. I remember it being super cash. So
no, it's not super cash anymore.
No, it's definitely evolved. So anyway, get through that area and you kind of bop through a few other rock gardens, and then you go through a few mud holes. And then finally you get to the namesake of the Slickrock Trail, which is the slab that you drive up or down depending on
stair steps.
No, not the stair steps.
Oh.
The steep slab where you drive up or down depending on the direction you're going.
Okay.
Before the stair step.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a super steep hill. And then near the bottom, it's got a ledge.
Step ledge, yes.
That really puts you nose down.
Yeah.
No problem. You slide a little bit, but whatever. Then right after that, there's a small rock garden that opens up, and that's where we met up with Lee Lim and his group.
Oh.
So Nick with that group that he was their trail lead, and he's with the group that maintains that trail.
Oh.
Again,
Joaquin Jeepers.
So he's like, oh yeah, I know you guys, and then he's like, I know Jay Barry. I'm like, I'm sorry.
Oh, jeez.
It's like, okay, sorry, Jay Barry. Well, there you go. Boom. So so we hung out for a minute, then he ran.
We don't need no stinking budget.
Haven't used that one in a while. That's a good one.
Lorenzo, calm down.
Okay. He's getting a little, he's fired up, man.
He is fired up. Chris is on trail.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah.
So that's where the birthday cake came out from Lee Lim and Rodney.
So, okay, we need to hear about this because this was pretty epic.
Yeah. So Lee Lim came rolling up, and then Rodney's like, "Hey man, you got it." Lee's like, his two boys are in the back of his 19,000-pound Land Cruiser.
19,000-pound Land Cruiser. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay.
Anyway, Rodney's like, "You got a few minutes?" Lee's like, "Yeah." So Rodney runs off to his Jeep, which is parked just down the trail. And comes back with that damn cake, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna happy birthday, Chris, for being on the trail." I'm like, you guys are dicks.
So Rodney got you a birthday cake with a number one candle on it for your first wheeling trip, which isn't 100% true because
not 100%.
You were wheeling Turkey Claw at King of the Hammers this year,
That's
right?
That's right.
So,
thank you for bringing that up.
I did. I have to validate because I got your back as much as I give you shit, but that wheeling Turkey Claw, and I had to fucking pry you out of your camper to go wheel Turkey Claw.
I was stoked after talking to freaking Shannon Campbell. I wanted to wheel.
Yeah. That was after the Shannon Campbell interview. You're right. So that was a blast, and we need to see you out on the trail more.
I want to be on the trail.
So make it happen. See your future, be your future. make your future, Danny.
So
we don't have any Caddyshack clips over here, do we, Lorenzo?
We need to fix that.
That's bullshit.
I'll fix that. Lorenzo, get on that.
Yeah, make a note there.
So I think there were 8 in their group with Lee Lim and Nick. So they motored on. It was basically Nick in a Jeep Gladiator on 40s, and then all these. I think the rest of them were Land Cruisers, literally, or Lexuses or whatever they call themselves.
Whatever.
Toyotas.
Oh wow,
Freaking Toyotas.
Here we go.
Anyway, they motor on up and we continue heading down. And man, that's so just after that, when they left and I started heading back down the trail, you know, that section just after that, before you make that hard left turn to go down to towards the stair step.
Right.
I almost rolled.
What?
Oh yeah. I came off of a freaking step and I'm like, oh, and it wasn't a roll. It would have been a freaking flop. It would have been I would have gone from, I would have flopped ass over tea kettle. Basically passenger front to driver front to passenger rear. That's how I would have rolled.
Oh, that's not good.
And it was like, whoa. I should have taken a walk. I didn't think that area got a lot harder.
So you got a little complacent.
Yeah, I did. So anyway, I got through it. And you know, continued on down the trail. That area right there. So you got to kind of go down, and then there's a left and a right, or a right and a left, and then you finally drop into this foresty area with no rocks, and then you cross the stream, which I parked in for a minute to wash my wheels off.
Oh wow!
And then you've got the rock garden, and then the stair step, which is basically the end of the trail.
Yep.
Or you think it's the end of the trail. The trail's really evolved, man. You haven't been on it in a while.
Oh, I've been on it. I was on it in the spring.
Were you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no,
you weren't there.
I was.
No, you weren't. You weren't there. I did it in the spring.
You're going the wrong direction, dude.
Oh, okay.
You're unscrewed. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. God, take you anywhere.
Lorenzo, what are you doing with my microphone?
Fuck. Anyway, so go through the stream there, and Rodney's still in front of me at this point, and he just one-shots that goddamn stair step. He just doesn't get out, doesn't stop, doesn't walk it, nothing, and he's just
got skills.
Just drives right up that. You know, he takes a line, drives right up it.
Well, that's what you got to do. You got to commit. You get seat time, Chris. Seat time.
Yeah. So
know your rig, know your abilities, and send it.
Well, you know,
got to make it happen.
Anyway, so then I follow it. I'm like, well, I'm going to one shot this too.
Oh,
and
not so much.
Not so much. So I went really wide, and I got hung up on my.
So what were you thinking there? Because that was
kind
of an interesting line.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, all right.
I figured. So I was kind of thinking. I didn't realize that I was going to be straddling that rock on my passenger side. I thought I was going to come up on it with my passenger tire.
Right.
I didn't think that I would be too wide.
And what did we learn from that?
Well, get out and spot.
Exactly.
So I got
Don't
stuck.
be afraid to get out of your rig and look too, you know? Don't just check your pride.
That's right.
Curb your enthusiasm and just, you know, I do it now because it's cost me money in the past, and apparently it cost you money on this trip too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what did you say about my steering?
Oh. You hit it dead center. You hit your tie rod dead center. Dead center.
Couldn't have done any better if I tried.
Yeah, it was impressive.
I mean, there's
impressive.
There's rock dust on it. There's rock dust on my diff cover skid plate.
I could see the whole thing. I could tell you the whole just by looking at your front end. I could tell you exactly what happened because it was very apparent with the rock rash that you have there. So there you go.
So, anyway, Rodney helped me get unstuck. I backed up. Got realigned and more to the left on that obstacle and got lined up, and then I ended. But he was, you know, trying to take me on some crazy. So he wanted me to go wide left to get lined up and take this wide left line onto the stair step, that last obstacle on Slickrock, and I wasn't feeling it. The Jeep wasn't feeling good. First of all, he had me full passenger lock. With my lockers locked. Okay. With a weak ass set of U joints.
All right. So you were feeling it from the driver's seat.
I wasn't liking it.
Bound up.
Yeah, I wasn't liking it. So I wanted to get a little more squared up so my U joints weren't full lock.
Good call.
So we got a little bit more squared up, and then I was able to drive right up it.
Okay.
Front obviously locked up front and rear. I mean that obstacle, it's steep, but it's a little dug out, but there's nothing that moves on it.
No,
there's no loose rocks.
It's solid.
So we got to the top of that, and we congratulated each other, and then we had lunch and hung out for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes.
I like that you congratulate each other. That's awesome.
It was cool. So we had lunch, chilled out for a bit, hydrated, kind of decided what we were going to do. We were going to turn around and run the trail the other direction and get stuck behind a bunch of Toyotas.
Oh, boy.
Or we were going to continue on and go the street route. And I said, you know what? It's later. I want to try to get
What time
home
of the day are we talking here?
It's like 1:30, 2 o'clock at this point.
So it's not bad.
I want to get home before dark.
Okay,
So,
yeah, because you drove up. This was just a day trip
this
for
is
you.
a day trip.
So it's like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour drive just to the trailhead, right?
Exactly.
And then you did the trail, and here we are, 1:30 at the end of the trail, and then you'd have another, 2.5 hours back out to the pavement and then road. Or if you continue forward to Utica Reservoir and stuff, you got another half hour, 45 minutes to further down Highway 4.
Back to my trailer, probably.
Yeah.
So we decided to just go to the pavement.
Okay.
But
So you went out Utica.
We went out Utica.
Okay.
Now I will say that once you
What will you say?
you get through
We all wanna
once
know.
you're past the stair step, it doesn't end. The trail is still hard
Okay.
or difficult.
Okay.
Not crazy, but
All right.
and it wasn't made any easier by Rodney in front of me.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Oh boy! Wait a minute. We got a news flash here.
So you know that area, that campground, just after the bridge or just before the bridge, depending
Yes,
on the direction
I do
you're going
remember
in.
that.
So there's that. This is just after the stair step, and you kind of go through a quick little area, and then you got to drop into the campground. Well, Rodney got out to do a little recon on the line, and I got out too to take a look, and he got back in his Jeep and started driving the line, and I'm walking back to my Jeep, and I found a wallet on the ground.
What?
And I'm like, fuck, somebody lost their wallet. I'm like, oh, pick it up, and I open it up, and it's Rodney's.
No, it isn't.
Oh yeah, Rodney lost his
He lost his wallet.
he lost his wallet on Slickrock.
Oh my god!
So
How
I
many
picked-
millions of dollars were in that
Dude,
wallet?
I picked that. I could barely pick it up.
It was heavy, probably, right? With all the hundos in there.
I thought my wallet was heavy.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, you've heard of hashtag Chris money, but Rodney money is a whole nother level.
Well, fuck, his license plate
Was
says
there?
excess bucks.
Exactly. Was there? Like IOUs in there from people that owe him money? Like, oh, you better keep this. This is $60,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I didn't look that close.
Oh,
but
okay.
yeah.
I guarantee those were in there.
It was bulging.
It was bulging.
It was a bulging wallet.
bulging.
Anyway, I pick it up. I throw it in the passenger seat of my Jeep, and I continue on. And
That's hilarious.
so I get down through those obstacles. We're driving through the campground. We get about 100 yards out of the. We're just before the bridge, and he stops.
Lost my wallet.
He jumps out of his Jeep, and he's like, you can see him patting his pockets. He's like, freaking out. I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, fuck, I think I lost my wallet. I'm like, really? Oh, that sucks, dude. What do you mean? We have to turn around, drive the trail back? It's like, maybe.
The only thing worse losing your wallet is your phone.
Yeah. And then I finally said, I'm going to be merciful. So I say, is this your wallet?
Oh, you're serious.
And he's
Nice.
like, yeah, man. Oh, shit. Thank you, dude. Oh, my God. Thank you.
That's great.
So anyway, we cross over the bridge, and you think the trail's over, and you got that quick, I don't know, another quarter mile or whatever up to the trailhead. But he makes that, you go up a little bit, and then there's this hard left turn.
Right.
And he's on top of a rock, a pretty good sized rock. I'd say it's hundreds of pounds. And he moves this thing when he drives over it.
Really?
And when this rock is finished rolling, it is literally in the middle of the freaking trail.
Oh, he moved a rock into the middle of the trail.
Into the middle of the trail.
Nice
and
job, Rodney.
So I'm like, okay, great. And I'm like, this is a diff catcher, you know?
Right.
I'm all right. So I can either go wide. No, I can't go wide right. There's no way. So I got to go hard left, and I got to get my passenger tires up on this rock and go off camber to the passenger side. And I slid off the rock the first time, had to back up, realign. Anyway, I'm like, this trail, this should be an easy section of the trail. And I'm sitting here getting all technical and shit. But once we got through that, then it was just a quick little blop. I got through it. No problem. Obviously, I did get a little uncomfortable on the off camber there. Thank you, Rodney. Appreciate it. But bopped up to the end of the trail there where the signage is. A few trailers parked up there from people that were wheeling, and then blasted out on the dirt roads up the pavement.
Yeah,
aired up, and then drove back to the trailer.
Nice.
So
okay.
Great day on the trail. I enjoyed it. It reminded me exactly why I built the Jeep to do what it does.
There you go.
And
got a little rejuvenation there.
Oh hell yeah! And the mountain therapy, man. I'm telling you, there's nothing better.
It is. It's and you get out there and you're four-wheeling, and it's your buddies, the group that you're with, and you met up with Lee Lim's group. There's the ribbing with the birthday cake and stuff. I mean, it's just, that stuff is freaking great. Sounds like an awesome day with great weather, great friends, great wheeling, in a beautiful area. I mean, what more can you ask for? Really?
Right.
I mean, that sounds like a nice... I know what you could ask for more of. You could do a whole week of that shit at Trail Hero. But anyways...
Well, yeah, but hopefully... Yeah, so
I'm glad you got out.
I am too.
That's good, because I was beginning to wonder if the Jeep was for sale, what was going on, if it was just a rolling workbench.
It's for sale. It's for sale. $85,000. It's for sale.
Oh, how much?
85.
85,000. Really? 85,000.
No, I will. The legit takeaway about the Slickrock is I don't know, let's call it 15 years ago. I drove that trail on 31s, the hard direction before the reroute,
the hard way,
with no lockers.
Wow.
And well, I don't know if it's the hard way, because you drive at that point. I drove down the stair step.
No, going up the stair step's the hard way.
It is, but I mean, I wasn't back then. I was not able to drive up the Slickrock part. I had to do the bypass on that.
Now, did you have to start your Jeep by getting out and turning a crank in the front to start the Jeep? Okay, that was that far ago. Okay, all right, that's good.
And ether too, fucker. Anyway, no, it was great to get out. It was, like you said, good company. It was great to meet people on the trail. It was just great to be on the trail again, working the Jeep again, and realizing that despite my continual upgrades on the Jeeps, the trails are continuing to evolve.
Yes.
And I think a lot of that has to do with the rigs that are going on the trails now. You got these long wheelbase Jeeps with giant ass tires and
4 doors, more horse,
and potentially less talent. I don't know, but people, the trail. One of the comments I do want to say about the trail, I was pleased to no end to see no garbage on the trail.
Really? Nice. That is awesome.
No garbage.
That is good.
I mean, thank you for
keeping the trail clean. We like that.
We like that. We talk about that episode with BRC, Blue Ribbon Coalition.
Yes.
And, talking about some of the closures, but it looks like people are behaving themselves and picking up their garbage and not throwing shit out the window.
Good.
So super happy about that. And please keep up the good work.
Yes, that's good. Picking up a few cans and trash here and there go a long way if everybody did that. And I interviewed Wreck Gear, and that's kind of one of their things is they pick up trash on the trail and promote that, and it's key. I've picked up a ton of stuff, random parts, and most of them are Toyota parts, obviously, out on the trail, but
Burfields.
Yeah. Some people make chalices out of them. I that still blows me away that Lee does that. I don't care what kind of detergent, acetone, paint thinner, whatever you're using to cut grease, there's no way to get the grease out of a Burfield. It just is not, never getting out of there.
He's going to outlive both of us.
Yeah, right. So the next COVID variant, Lee Lim is going to be the strongest.
He's the cure.
They're gonna come to him and say, "Hey, what is your secret? Oh, you just drink out of a freaking Toyota Burfield.
That fucking wine he drinks.
The Choya. He puts the Choya in the Burfield. That's what he does. Yes.
All right. So that's the recap for my adventure. I enjoyed it. I was glad to get out.
I'm glad. We were excited for you. A lot of people were DMing me on the Instagram going like, is Chris really out wheeling this weekend? And I said, yeah. He's not a trail hero, but he's out at Slickrock having fun. So that's cool. That's right on, man.
I enjoyed it. It was good to get out.
Good.
So do we have time to talk about your trip, your lame-ass trip?
No.
All right.
Nothing happened. It was boring.
Fucking Lorenzo's on
Trail
point.
Hero 2022. Just nothing happened. It was like this. We heard crickets and it was
your bourbon glass is empty.
Yeah, it is.
All right. So, I had a blast on Slickrock. And while I was doing that, Jason was actually doing, unbelievably so, I think at that time was recording some podcasts for the show down at Trail Hero. Shit, that shit rhymes.
There you go. All right. Well, there it is. Well, that intro, I don't know. It's only up from here, I guess.
Every squirrel gets a nut.
So, here we are. Yeah, so Trail Hero 2022. This is my third year attending this event, third year at Sand Hollow, and incredible, unbelievable, epic, terrific, outstanding. I don't know. There's not enough adjectives to describe the whole week that we spent there. But
I didn't know you knew what an adjective was.
Adjective. Yes, adjective.
Wow.
It's a descriptive word, Chris.
Wow.
You put prior to another word that describes that word following
And
previously
you must
to.
be educated.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
So,
Needle and thread.
yes, Friday.
So when did you drive down? You
Friday.
left Wednesday night.
Friday.
Oh, you left
Friday. No, so Thursday night, drove to Harris Ranch on Highway 5. We met up with James and Rhonda, Lady Samurai and Samurai James.
And our lawyer.
Code Nelson.
Okay.
Mr. Code. So that was cool. So he didn't come down till Friday morning.
Oh,
Dark 100.
shit.
But so Saturday night, went in and I was running behind. And so I had James and Rhonda give me dinner. So they got me a nice brisket dinner. And so we ate out in the parking lot. I ate out in the parking lot. They ate inside. But it was nice. Had a little Frey Ranch bourbon.
Oh, nice.
Sitting outside the camper. It was hot. Beautiful. I mean, it was probably like 80 degrees
You
at
were
night.
at Harris Ranch.
Yeah, it's Harris Ranch, you know, with a little waft of horse aroma. And or cow, I should say. Cow, yeah.
They don't eat horse.
There was horses there, too.
People eat horses, but hopefully not at Harris Ranch.
There. So
I like that nice horse steak.
Yeah, that's a good one. A little New York horse roast.
Jesus.
So Harris Ranch had a nice evening there and woke up at Dark 100, 5 a.m. and Dave showed up and we met him at the gas station there.
Shit, he must have left super early from Sacramento.
He left at like 1:30 in the morning or some stupid hour. It was like ridiculous. I'm like, okay.
He's a maniac.
So we headed out down the highway, the three of us, which was great. And booked it, man, and then they had to get fuel. It was expensive. It was like $7-something a gallon
at Harris Ranch.
At Harris Ranch. So
how many times did the Dodges have to tow their Ford?
No. So this was my big concern of this trip: is there was 2 Dodges and my Ford, and I thought, you know what? I've got a lot of carrying capacity and torques and horsepower, and I thought if I'm going to have to tow these guys all the way to Sand Hollow, it's going to be a very long trip. But luckily, didn't have to do that. But so we headed out and fueled up, and there was this truck stop we went to just outside Cinnabon. When was the last time you had a Cinnabon?
I don't even know what that is.
You don't even know what a Cinnabon is? The cinnamon rolls, the really good cinnamon rolls.
At the mall?
Well, yeah, but they have them at these truck stops.
Oh,
and so they had this lady working this deal at like 6 a.m. in the morning, and they had these center cut cinnamon rolls, And I'm like, oh, I gotta get one of those
cinnamon rolls.
I gotta get one of those
instead of a center cut steak.
Freaking fantastic! So that was my quick breakfast. Of course, we got some coffee.
So sugar high.
No, well, I put them easy on the frosting because they're crazy.
Okay.
So yeah, we got our coffee at Harris Ranch, so we had a full cup going in and had that. So we motored on down the highway, effortless, very smooth. Got into Las Vegas and needed to fuel up again. So Rhonda was navigating for us and running the fuel price checks, and she goes, "Hey, there's a place just outside of Vegas for $4.65 a gallon for diesel." And I'm like, "Giddy up, let's go there." It's a Maverick. So
I don't pay more than 49 cents a gallon.
Well, must be nice. So got into the Maverick, and I go, right, fill up, and we need some lunch, and they had a little like taco stand in there. So we got some tacos, and then they had one of those Friel ice cream milkshake machines. You know about those?
What?
Friel.
Never heard
Freal. Friel.
Was it broken?
Friel. No, it was fucking awesome.
So it wasn't McDonald's.
So you select your ice cream, and then you put it, you take it out, and then you put it in this cup holder, and then you select on the machine if you want it like, thick, medium, or thin, and then it makes this milkshake out of this stuff. It blends it up right in front of you. Oh my gosh. So I got a cookies and cream, and I did it on like medium. So you could kind of drink it, kind of not.
Yeah, a spoon?
Yeah, a little bit of a spoon was necessary there. But, that was so good. So I had some tacos, a Friel, like rejuvenated me on the way into Sand Hollow. So we got into camp about 5:30 and got situated. There was already Dolly and Eric were there. Bill was there. Greg was there. So there was a handful of people already into camp. And so Dolly kind of had things laid out, and she set up the Davenports and I right next to the kitchen.
Well, she is the camp mom.
Yes. And so it worked out perfect. We were able to back up. They had a concrete area with a metal awning, and then the picnic tables, and we had like 6 picnic tables in our camp.
That's awesome, because one of the things I hate the most, not hate the most, but one of the things I dislike is when you go to a place to camp and there's no place to sit when you're eating your dinner.
No, we had plenty of tables and stuff, so we set up semi set up, just kind of got things out of our camper and just semi set up, and we're like, okay, we're not going to cook tonight. We're going to head into town. So we looking online, and there was this place called the Cross Country Diner, and I go, well, this has got to be good. It just got great ratings.
They have jukeboxes.
They didn't have a jukebox that I saw, but you walk up. It was a walk-up window outside, and they had outdoor and indoor dining, and it was warm. Like I say, it was warm down there. And James, we order our dinners, and we go inside. James goes, dude, we're eating in here. And it was like an ice box. It was an old train car, rail car, and we had the whole place to ourselves. So it was freaking awesome. And the food was off the chains, man. So freaking good. And a ton of it. Total comfort food. So good. So freaking good. So that was, I had like this pastrami. Oh no, I had something sandwich that had like extra pastrami and salami, and it was heated up, and these fries were good. And it was a good dinner. We were all like, yes.
Is that a Reuben?
No, it wasn't a Reuben. So that was our first night. And then so Saturday morning we wake up, set up camp, finished setting up camp, and then Dave Wong came in, and that's where we did that interview with Dave Wong.
Right.
So I'd set that up.
I was wheeling and you were working.
Yeah.
Boy, what a change of characters.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So it was great. So excited to wake up in Sand Hollow, and you're in the camp and you're looking up. You got the lake one side, the opposite side you've got all the wheeling. And then, Dave rolls into camp. So that didn't suck. So we got a great interview, which you have heard now. If you're caught up with podcasts.
If you haven't, get caught up.
Yeah.
Pause it and get caught up.
And we ran to the store that day. We went into town and picked up some supplies and ice and everything. There is a Costco about 20 minutes away. We did not go to Costco. Oh. We hit up some local markets and the local Walmart, which was very pleasant, by the way. It was the best Walmart I've ever been in.
See Cody?
No, did not see him. He's not there.
Oh, no.
There.
No
so, then dinner that night, Dave did dinner that night, and he has this famous Michigan sauce.
Oh, shit, yeah.
Oh, and the hot dogs and brats, and then he made a warm German potato salad.
Oh, say what you want to say about
so
Dave,
freaking good.
Our lawyer, that guy can cook.
Yeah, he can cook, and that was awesome. So yeah, it was it was a nice opening day, if you will, and just relax, and from driving out there, and we got to visit with a bunch of people. People were coming into our camp, and yeah, it was a really good night.
Cool.
So the next morning, woke up, and it's time to wheel now. It's Sunday. Let's go wheeling. So we went out and did joint effort, which is right out of the tunnle.
Uh-huh.
And things are so washed out there from the monsoons.
That's right.
So right out of the tunnel, you could go straight, you could go left or right.
Well, hold on. So on that tunnel, do they have to push dirt? Because I saw pictures of the tunnel before Trail Hero.
Push sand.
They had to push sand up there with a dozer or something.
Yeah,
to
it was
fix
all washed out, and there's a huge crevasse now right outside the tunnel. If you go straight, that was all filled in before.
Uh-huh.
So
it was fixed when you got there.
No, it was still a crevasse, and so
you got to wheel to get to the wheeling.
Well, you either go hard left or hard right, and it was so interesting and such a clusterfuck throughout the week because you got these. We come through with the buggies and stuff, and we can go anywhere. Just throw it in 4-wheel drive and just go. But they would be like you'd be following a side-by-side or something, and somebody driving it that didn't know, and they're like, oh my God, where do I go? How do I get out of the, and it clogged up the tunnel, and it was just, they needed a traffic cop at the each end of the tunnel. But
were there any Toyotas there?
I saw a couple. There was a couple there.
Okay.
Pulled one out. So we went out on joint effort, went out with Dave Wong. So that was it. So after the interview on Saturday, I said, hey, Sunday morning, let's go out and do some trail riding. He's like, heck yeah. So we went and did joint effort. The Plakes joined us, Glenn and Kimberly.
Who?
The Plakes.
Who?
Yeah. And then George is great wheeler. He's done a lot of competition stuff. Tyler's got a 4-steer buggy that was with us. That's badass. Bill, the Suzuki Samurai in our group, went out. Of course, James and Rhonda. Code was my right seat. He's like, can I go out with my quad? I go, no, you better just
did he take his side by side?
Yeah, side by side, and he did some runs. Yeah, he had a good time.
Okay, good. All
yeah,
right.
for sure.
So when I talked to him, he said, no, fuck no, I'll die out there.
No. It was good. So we had a good run, good group, and joint effort is my new favorite trail out there. It's you come through the tunnel and it's off to the left.
What's that rated?
It's 9, I believe. 9.
So Jeep Wranglers do not apply.
No. The waterfalls at the beginning are just a true gatekeeper. It's intense right out of the gate, and it's cool. You climb up one waterfall, make a hard left. Climb up another waterfall, veer to the right a little bit. Climb up another waterfall, left, right. You're just kind of working your way up, and it's no joke, no freaking joke. It gets your attention right away.
So the scale was 1 to 15, and that was a 9.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. I believe it's a 9.
All right.
So then we get up over the waterfalls, and it kind of levels out, and then there's a bonus line straight ahead, or the trail goes off to the right, or you can go around left. It's like this little mountain area, and so George went up it. He's a drag axle but very capable driver and rig, and he was able to make this bonus line, and I was like, well, okay. And I was thinking about it, but I go, it's pretty gnarly. And then Tyler goes up it in his 4-steer buggy, and no problem. And then Kimberly Plake gets on it, and Glenn's guiding her, and she gave it a good run. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she's going to get this. Well, she had it till she didn't.
Yeah, we saw that.
Unfortunately, she went to back up, it unloaded, and front end came over and slid down, and she rolled. She ended up on her roof, and Gavin was riding with her, Hannah. So Eric and Dolly's son from Texas, and so we were blaming it on him. Right. Unfortunate roll, but just minor damage to the rig, cosmetic, and lost a little bit of oil that we cleaned up, and then there's tranny fluid, and added some tranny fluid. It fired right back off, and we were off and running again in short order. So that was the first time that Kimberly rolled like that. And
ever?
It was, yeah. There must have been 20 freaking cameras going, and I was the only one that had video rolling, and I just barely caught it.
I saw the video.
So I posted it up, a while back on IG, but that was that Sunday that happened.
Well, my comment to you on that was that didn't look like a very gnarly spot, but you're like, yeah, it was gnarly.
Super gnarly, dude. Super gnarly. There was just not much traction, a lot of undulation, and it was steep. It was definitely one of those lines.
She was running her stickies.
Yep. BFG stickies. No water, but BFG stickies, and like I say, she almost had it until she didn't. So it's a game of inches, and that sucked. But I'm glad everybody was okay. That was like the rollover, and then it's like, okay, you okay? And I mean these tube chassis buggies.
They're designed to protect the drivers.
They are very strong, and it is fortunate. So, and had the harnesses on and everything. So, then so we continue up the trail, and everybody's talking about the Z-turn. I'm like, okay, and it was an off-camber Z-turn. And it was pretty gnarly. I mean, the consequences were there. If something was to go south and you lost traction or slipped a little bit, you'd end up in this big old chasm, But everybody made it through there. And poor Bill, I don't know what happened, but James had to get in to the back of his rig or something, opened up the tailgate and didn't close it all the way. And Bill goes up this steep step, and it was like a dump truck. Everything, all his tools, everything came out of the back of it. It was Bill's rig on the middle of the trail. We're just sitting there going, what the heck? And he was sabotaged by a fellow samurai driver.
Do we have any video of that?
There might be some video of them picking everything up, but so
no pictures. It didn't happen.
Right. But we got back a decent hour from that trip. A lot of fun. Just a good group to run with. So got back at a decent hour, and this was Sunday afternoon, early evening. And I said, James, we need to go hit some golf balls because we got the golf tournament the next day. So we went out. They had a little pitch and putt course, a little 9-hole, fun little golf course.
They have a driving range?
They have a driving range. They've got the championship golf course. Everything's grass. It's beautiful. It's the number one golf course in Utah, public golf course in Utah.
It's the only golf course in Utah.
No, it's not. There's a lot of great golf courses in Utah.
Okay.
So very, very, very nice facility there. So we went out. It was like $15 to go play this course. So it was perfect.
A little chip and putt?
Yep. A lot of fun.
I love chip
Real
and putts.
Grass, So we got to knock the dust off a little bit and enjoy a nice evening walking around the golf course there.
How's James' game?
He's got some game, He's definitely got some potential. He needs to play more, and he would be able to polish things up. But he did well. He did really well.
Oh, good.
And we got back just in time for pizza night. So the Hannahs were in charge of pizza, and of course, I had to man both pizza ovens, I think, now that I think about it. I was cooking 4 pizzas at a time. It was a lot of work. I think we rolled out about 30 pies.
Hey, I'm telling
that
you,
night,
campground pizza with pizza ovens.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. Because those pies are better than anything you get.
It was fun. We had a lot of people in camp that night that showed up for pizza, and it was a fun party.
These things have nothing on Pizza Hut personal pan pizzas.
No. For sure.
That's sweet.
And then Monday morning golf tournament. So we had to be over at the golf course by 7:30. We showed up and got our tea prizes. So Budweiser did donated all these like soft coolers and shirts and koozies and all this stuff. So
really,
yeah, I got a nice little swag bag of stuff there.
Did I get anything for my donation?
Nope, got nothing and like it. So
that's bullshit.
Well, hey, you need to be there.
I paid money, dude.
So we decorated our golf cart with American flags, and Casey Shear was cart right behind us, and he put up a Trump 2024 flag.
I saw that.
So that was cool. He goes, "Hey, has anybody got tie wraps?" I'm like, "I got tie wraps right here." So anyways, it's just a fun, event. There's a lot of non-golfers there that are just out there to support the Four Wheel to Heal. Yeah. The drinking and stuff. A Rise to Impact was there.
Okay.
Kelly. So when we made the turn, we started on number 1. We were 1A. So we signed up early. We were 1A, so we were in the prime position. It was great. So we tee off, and it's like threatening to rain and a little chilly. And we head down there. We get to the green, and here comes Rich, somebody with Rich, and they're carrying the organizer of the event, and they're carrying this thermos
lightning
with shot glasses. And I'm like, what the? And he goes, 10 o'clock is they can't let the beer cart out on the golf course till 10 o'clock. That's the law in Utah.
What the fuck?
So he came out with some jungle juice to just welcome us to the tournament and everything. May or may not have had alcohol. I don't know. And
lubricate the
very,
muscles.
very freaking nice. So that was fun start to the tournament. We make the turn. We were playing pretty good. It's a scramble format. So everybody tees off. You pick the best shot.
Correct.
Everybody hits again. You pick the best shot, and you hit from that point until you hole out. And
did they have to? Everybody had to. They had to play at least one person's
no.
drive?
It's super simple. Just scramble format. That was it. You didn't have. Everybody had to hit 4 drives. You got strokes. Nope. Just straightforward scramble.
So
Fun.
just so everybody knows, Jason has game. He is damn near a scratch golfer, and he doesn't play golf.
Not a scratch. I'm
you're
a
not
7 handicap.
Whoa, fuck. Okay, it's so close to scratch.
No, that's nowhere near scratch. But
right.
anyways.
Okay, whatever. Go ahead.
So we, and I was nursing some broken or bruised ribs or whatever the hell I had going on. Still going on, but fun. So I was guarding my swing, which is good because when you swing slower, you actually hit better. And I hit some decent shots. So we come in on the 9th green there, and they have, there's a raffle going on. So Four Wheel to Hill was the beneficiary charity for this event. And Rise to Impact was also there. So Kelly and Brandy were there. And, you buy some extra raffle tickets and such. And I'm like, okay, so, and they're like, whatever it was, I'm like, okay, give me $100 worth here. This is all going to a good charity. And they said, oh, well, you get to pick in the bin here of what you want. They had like shirts and hats and stuff. And then they had a tie, a Budweiser tie, Michelob Ultra tie.
Oh, God.
So I'm like, oh, I need a tie. Let's. It was a nice quality tie,
I don't think I've ever seen you wear a tie.
I wore ties all the time when I was back working. So I go, okay.
Here.
I didn't get a harumph out of that guy. But so it was a blast. So I ended up playing the second 9 with a tie on. Never played golf in a tie before. I've hit some shots before, but never Never a full
I mean,
9 holes.
You've done some shots.
No, I've done that too. But so that was super cool. A lot of fun. It's just a fun tournament. And you know what won that tournament, Chris? What do you think won that tournament with 0 strokes and
wait. Back up. No strokes?
Scramble.
On no strokes?
No strokes. No,
So they didn't
let's buy a mulligan, $100 mulligans.
Were handicaps
and shit
used?
No strokes, Chris. No strokes. Scratch, golf, scramble. Done. Go.
5 under.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I told our group, I go, a 4.
Is it par 72?
Par 72, 4 or 5 under.
So
would
how
win
was
this
the
tournament.
course?
Beautiful. Great golf course. Top notch.
What were the greens? Were they challenging? Were they
They're bent grass.
fast?
It wasn't that fast because of the weather. We got a little bit of rain, got a little chilly, and then it warmed up in the afternoon. It was beautiful, but yeah, no, it was all in good shape. So,
Okay. 5 under.
Winning
5 under.
team, 12 under.
Bullshit.
12 under, total bullshit. Second place team, 11 under.
Bullshit.
Another bullshit team.
Bullshit.
And then I think it went 9 under for the third place team.
Oh, there's bullshit flying everywhere.
We finished, I think we finished 1 or 2 under. Which I thought was good, but knew we weren't going to win it. But it was respectable. And so I went into the pro shop and in talking to the pros
HP.
there. Yeah. And I go, hey, I didn't say that. I've been in the golf business for a long time and stuff, but I go, hey, how's it going? Oh, good. Have a good day. Yeah, great day. So, scrambled tournament, no strokes. What would you think would win the thing? And they said the same thing, 4 or 5 under. And I said, yeah, you know what won? And they go, yeah, I know, 12 under and 11 under and 9 under. I go, yeah. And I go, what's the possible? Have you ever seen that before or anything? Because I go, this is very, well, no, never seen that before. That's yeah. Some good golfers out there.
Right, good drinkers.
I think somebody failed math class there, but anyways,
whatever. I mean, it's like
it's all for
charity and
freaking
fun.
Great, and that's what I said. But
be honest, people.
Dude,
come on.
12 under. That's ridiculous.
I mean,
Come on.
There aren't fucking PGA pros that post fucking scores like that.
I don't even know how you show your face. I mean, that's ridiculous. I've heard of sandbaggers before, but there's no strokes, so it's like you're beyond sandbagging,
And remember, listeners, that Jason and I both work in the business.
So
we know
typical scrambled tournament where strokes are given and then people have to hit a certain amount of drives and stuff. I mean, 12, 14 under is totally. I've seen 18 under before in scramble tournaments when you get some good golfers. But yeah, 12 under with no strokes.
But the reality on a scramble, and not to belabor it, but when a scramble tournament, generally you have you have the requirement to have drives from every person.
We
in the
talked
group.
about that.
So typically, you're going to be forced to handicap your round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it's all about. You need, your worst player, and there's always going to be a worst player in your group, your foursome, you're going to be required to play that drive. And it might be a 50-yard drive or a 75-yard drive or whatever, but you're going to be required to use that. But apparently that wasn't required in this tournament.
No, it's not. It was a fun tournament.
Right.
So, the other part is most charity tournaments, it's like, for $25, you can buy, mulligans, and you could buy 4 mulligans, $100, and that all goes to the charity. And they didn't have that, but even with mulligans and stuff, I mean, that's just crazy. But anyways, so that was that. So then, shortly after the tournament, they had the award ceremony and stuff and a raffle. I ended up winning like 4 shocks, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with those, but I'll figure out something. Maybe we'll give them away on the podcast or something. I gotta follow up on that gift certificate to see what that's all about.
More giveaways.
Yeah. And then we had the opening ceremony that night. So very cool this year. In the past, it's been at the clubhouse. They moved it over to the Rock Bowl, which is this grass area surrounded by, this red sandstone. Great little amphitheater setting. And so we ran back to camp, got cleaned up, went back over to register. So that's where you get all your registration stuff for your runs. They have the merch trailer there, so you can get all your merch. And it's a meet and greet. I mean, it's everybody that's there at the event is there hanging out. And
did you get me a shirt?
We had no, I didn't. You didn't want a shirt. You gotta go. You gotta go to get a shirt. I don't know.
You asked me, Chris, do you want a shirt? I said, yeah.
No.
Really?
I said, yeah, sure. Yes, sir.
Fuck.
So we had
You're dead.
Dolly got a great table, just front row. And it was great. I mean, people were coming up constantly and just getting to meet and talk to old friends, new friends, everything there. And so Rich Klein comes up, and I was talking to Randy Slauson, who he just had this brand new Gold Digger.
Who's he?
Car? Yeah. So just a 3-time king. He just kind of somebody that's kind of just I don't know. He just does some racing.
3-time
stuff
king of what?
Of KOH. So he builds this car, Gold Digger, right? This beautiful car. So the Generite Jeeps there. Amber had her Samurai there.
Amber the Hammer?
Yep. And so there was a lot of like cool rigs that were surrounding the amphitheater area. And so Rich came over and says, hey, Randy, you need to pull Gold Digger up higher on the rock. You need to be at the top there. And so
the apex.
Yeah. So Randy looks at me, he goes, you want to drive it? And I go, fuck yeah, I want to drive it. So went over there and climbed into Gold Digger and got to force steer that puppy up to the top. Only drove it about, like 30 feet or so, maybe 40 feet, but it was freaking badass because everybody was in line down below, and walking up to the rig and then hopping in Gold Digger and firing off. It's got a rowdy little freaking, LS motor in it. Yeah, LSX motor, and it just fucking sounds good. And
did you rev that fucker a couple times?
No, I didn't rev it. I should have. Yeah. But I force steered it right up to the top. That was cool. So thank you, Randy, for making my night there. But that was fun. And then we went back to camp and night run.
Does James wake up?
Night run. No, James was not able to operate a motor vehicle. I was not able to operate a motor vehicle. We were both exhausted from the golf tournament. And
bullshit. I was able.
Yeah, you were able. All right.
I went. I did it.
Mm-hmm. So I ended up riding with Crazy Dan from Utah.
Oh, that might be a bad thing.
It was a bad thing. It was bad choices were made, and I go, oh my god, okay,
because you stone drunk, probably a better driver than Dan's.
I don't. Sober. Yeah, no, he was sober, but I wasn't drunk, but I was, I just didn't want to drive.
No,
I was
did you
tired.
hear what I
said?
I mean,
I know. So. Go out there and the on-off switch was working for the gas pedal. I mean, it was full on, full
0
off.
and 1 binary.
It was freaking insane. We go out. I don't even remember what trail we did. Didn't
Love
matter.
Crazy Dan.
All the Utah boys were there. And
Steve was there?
We had a good freaking time, man. He's got those brand new Mickey Stickies, gnarly looking tires. So he was burning them in. SEMA. Yeah, he was burning them in. So it was a lot of fun.
Do you need to break in stickies?
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Well, your stickies are broken in.
Well, they're well broken in. Yeah, they're years old, but these were brand new. This was their first run. So
you need to light them up. Have smoke pouring off of them to get them ready. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's good.
Did he accomplish that?
Yeah, several times throughout the evening. Then Brew got stuck in a crack. He leaned it over in a crack, and we had to rescue him.
If I was Tyler, I'd be giggling right now.
Yeah. But it was good. I think we made it back to camp sometime around 1 o'clock or so in the morning. So it was a good run. A lot of fun. So, So then we're at Tuesday now. Tuesday.
We're only at Tuesday? We're running out of time, dude.
Yeah, well, just here we'll get through this.
Buckle up, Buttercup.
Yeah. So Weston Niner interviewed Weston Niner that morning of Beat Not Baby.
Beat Not Baby.
Yep. Finally met up with Weston. He came into camp early in his rubber band douche coupe. And somebody goes, hey, there's somebody here in a douche coupe to see you, Jason. I go, oh, it's Weston, because he broke his freaking shit box.
That's episode 177, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, so we got that one out timely, I told you, and that was a pain in the ass to upload and everything. We ended up using Starlink, thanks to
we made
Christina,
it happen, though.
Huntress, and Jonathan.
It's a group effort.
Uploaded.
Group effort.
Yeah.
And then Chris made it happen because he's magical and shit.
So Weston was a great interview that morning, and so it was right before breakfast. So they were like cooking breakfast while this interview was going on. So
I know Dolly posted video, and I saw you recording with Weston, and Christina was walking around looking good, and it was cool.
Yeah. So
kind of made me wish I was there.
Yeah. And so we finished the interview and then had breakfast. So that was cool. And then it was time for LCQ, the last chance qualifier for Trailbreaker. So we wanted to go up there and see. So Dave Wong was competing.
So why did Dave Wong have to do LCQ?
Because he wasn't in the main. He did not qualify. He hadn't won a previous Trailbreaker.
Oh, he didn't do any previous.
I mean, this is the best of the best. So you gotta.
But he's still a newbie.
Not a newbie, but he didn't qualify because he hadn't won Trailbreaker in the past.
I got you.
Okay, so they have an LCQ. So Jacob Reeves was in that group. Michael Bassanini. I mean, Tyler was in there that we wheeled with a couple days prior. I mean, just some badass freaking rigs and drivers.
And they're all four-wheel steer.
Yes. So go over there, and I wanted to watch that. So I was able to watch that whole event. Super cool. Got to get in the course because of media. Multipass.
Do you have a vest?
So yes, and it was great. Dave Wong almost ran me over during that qualifier. He had to reposition at the first obstacle, and I saw him coming, and I could have darted out to the left into the crowd, but I'm like, no, I'm going to get out of the way to the right. So I had to run around to the right.
Pictures.
He made his turn and then went back. It was great video.
Didn't happen.
It's great video.
Well, then you need to show it.
Okay.
Along with the video of you falling off your Jeep.
Okay, great.
And breaking your ribs.
Yes. Yeah, that still hurts. So
I saw the video, so
yes.
I know that happened.
Yes, it did happen. It's not a figment of your imagination. So LCQ was awesome, and Jacob Reeves was the last one to compete. And so you had 15 minutes to complete the course. It didn't matter backups, and you had to go through gates, but it was just you had to get through the course, and the fastest one through the course. And they took 6 qualifiers through that course.
Okay,
he was the last one to compete. The fastest time prior to him was like 8.5 minutes, somewhere in that range, 8:36, something like that.
15 minutes.
You had 15 minutes, and to do it in under 10 minutes was a hell of a freaking accomplishment.
Okay.
He did it in just under 5 minutes.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just under 5 minutes. Kicked everybody's asses. Last one. And just put on a freaking clinic. So that was super cool. So then we headed back to camp. It was, early evening at that point. And it was our night to cook, the Davenports and I. And so did gourmet burgers, did Wagyu beef burgers.
Well, I bet they sucked.
Oh, and the loaded crack tater tots, we called them. So we did these tater tots. Jay Barry helped me out with this chorizo cheese sauce that we made on the smoker. Smoked it for hours. Oh my God, Becky. It was freaking delicious.
Who the fuck's Becky?
Yeah, well, she knows how to cook tater tots, let me tell you. And so we had these burgers and tater tots, and I don't know. We did. I think I made like almost 30 burgers that night, and all but like 2 were gone. So
Were they better than mine?
they were damn freaking good. Everybody,
Were they better than mine?
they were better than yours.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Yeah, they were better than yours, and made caramelized onions, whiskey
That's
onions.
bullshit.
We had all the accoutrement for your lettuce and tomato and stuff. Bacon, had a nice thick cut bacon, avocado. I mean, it was a burger bar of all burger
But
bars.
the bacon wasn't in the burger.
No, bacon was not in the burger, but we had some other special things in the burger there that was delicious.
All right. Challenge accepted.
Yeah, bring it on.
All right.
Bring it on.
Game on.
Wagyu beef.
Ooh.
Good stuff.
All right.
So then now we're into Wednesday.
Fuck you very
Wednesday, hump day, hump day.
Are you done yet?
Wrecked gear comes into camp in the morning. So Bronson
the
and
week's over by
Jess.
now, and the week's not over.
Nope.
Oh shit!
You don't even know because it is unbelievable.
Well, you lost me
Just
when you said my burgers weren't as
they,
good.
the hits keep coming here at Trail Hero. It's just nonstop fun.
All right, whatever.
So met and interviewed Bronson and Jess from Wreck Gear YouTube channel.
Right.
Really cool. Great interview. That will be coming up here in a couple weeks. It's just we got so much content.
Too much content.
No, not too much. It was just good content.
Chris is overworked.
Yeah. But so we had them at the interview in the morning, and then we ran Nasty Half, which is right outside the tunnel. We did that.
What's that rating?
Right after the interview. I think that's a 9. It's
So
probably a 10 now because of the washout.
No Wranglers need apply.
Definitely not stock Wrangler country.
I'm not stock.
It's not no.
What about
That's
Latte
scary.
Jeeps?
Nope.
Nope.
So we started up Nasty Half, and it's got some, wall right out of there's an optional hard line, easy line, easier line.
Let me interrupt you for a second.
Okay.
Did you do any easy shit?
Yes. I did do easy shit. I drove the golf cart on the golf course. That was easy.
Fuck.
That was.
Would the Wrangler been able to handle that?
Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah. Maybe.
God, you're making it sound like you just need a
Go out there
buggy.
to wheel. You gotta go out. You go out there to wheel. You need a 4-steer buggy. Is what you
Well,
need.
my
4-steer buggy. So
Gold Digger's showing up next week.
okay, and there you
Just
go.
saying.
$250,000. It's yours.
It's mine.
There you go. So we started up Nasty Half, and unfortunately, Bill with the Samurai broke a transfer case. He put an inspection window in the transfer case during the trail ride. So we
That doesn't sound
we
good.
had to. It was very quick to get him moving again, and was able to. Bronson actually towed him up out of the trail because all these trails are kind of like in these troughs, and there's side trails beside them. So able to tow him up to a side trail and get him to a point where he could get back to camp under his own power. So that was good. So we continued up the trail, and Bronson and Jess had to peel off. They had another run to go do that they needed to get ready for. So we continued up and ended up getting up to Nasty Crack. Nasty Crack's an optional line off to the left.
You know what?
And there's 2 huge
I
boulders.
could say things about this.
Nasty Crack. And it
Tyler, you got any comments?
It was nasty.
Tyler, anything?
Giggity. So I go over there and I'm like, holy crap, how do you even get into this thing? Because there's a huge gatekeeper, which
Were you
are
scared?
2 huge boulders. There was no way I was doing it in my buggy. I was like, F this ain't happening.
Pussy.
So I walk back down the trail and I look at this other line. The other line's crazy as well, but doable. So as I'm walking back down, here comes this buggy up the trail that I recognize. It's Jesse Haynes Fabrication. I don't know if you've heard of Jesse Haynes before.
Was it the Jesse Haynes?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
So he's coming up in his
he
buggy,
couldn't handle the.
and he
couldn't
goes
handle
straight
it.
to Nasty Crack.
Could he handle the torques?
Yeah, oh yes, he could, all the way, and he ended up pulling this line to the left that was a freaking wall. I mean, just straight up wall on this big ass boulder. And it took him a few tries, but he got up it and then was in the crack. And then he got out, and I'm like, hey, Jesse, how's it going? Blah, blah. And he goes, yeah, I'm waiting for some people behind me. And, he was walking back down. So I walked down the trail, and then there's Charlie Melker. I don't know. Can I buy a vowel? Anyway, so he's the one of Big Silver 4x4. Okay. And his Charlie Jr., the kid that's like 14 years old now, 15 years old, is starting to compete. And he just got a Jesse Haynes buggy.
Must be nice.
Yeah. And then Charlie just got...
I'm 54 and I can't afford one.
Yeah, just got one. So they're out on the East Coast. Father and son have Jesse Haynes buggies. And so he used father used to compete. And now the son's starting to compete. So very cool stuff. But it was good. So we finished off that trail, ended up going back to camp, kind of resetting lunch, relax a little bit. And then I'm like totally relaxed. I'm like getting ready to like ease into the evening, right?
Take a nap.
Yeah, so it's 5 o'clock or so.
Naron.
No, it's not dark yet.
Naron.
No. So Randy Slauson comes over to me and he goes, "Hey, let's go." I go, what's going on? He goes, "Let's go run." I go,
Twilight run and turn a night run.
I'm good. No, we gotta go run a little bit here. And I'm like, oh shit. Here, I don't know if I want to follow Randy on the trail, but let's go. So we end up going out. So
was he in Gold Digger?
No, Gold Digger was having some heating issues. The fan was shutting off on him that he couldn't control. It was a programming issue.
So you had a chance.
The whole time we were asking for this special cord and putting the APB out to try and get
APB
get the what he needed to reset the ones and zeros for this
so you're saying you had a chance?
No, so he had Krista's buggy, the Trail Bomber,
which is a drag
axle, and so follow him out. So Jay Berry's in Randy's right seat, and Dave Code's in my right seat, and we go out.
Nothing bad can happen now.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, so it's like 5 o'clock, let's go. So I said, where are we headed? He goes, Joint Effort. And I'm like, okay, that's my new favorite trail. Randy likes that trail too. So we're going up the waterfalls. And
but you're doing it in high range.
Get up. No, not fast. Just smooth, moving. Get up, and then Randy cuts over to War Machine. And War Machine is a freaking 10 plus.
So Wranglers should apply?
Yeah. And go into War Machine, the top of War Machine, and it is like I'm watching Randy's buggy go straight up in the air and then disappear over the other side. And I'm like, okay. Well, prior to that, just getting over there was a steep off-camber downhill that was probably about 40, 50 feet down. And I was nervous. I'm like, this is not good. You're coming in at an angle.
Really?
It's not a very. Oh, dude, you wouldn't even fucking walk down it. Okay,
you
would look at it.
600 pounds of water in your tires.
But that's the problem. There's a lot of weight up front that could send you down into this ravine. And I'm like, this ain't good. This ain't good. And they're sitting over on the other side, Jason and Randy, fucking egging me on. Oh, you got this. And I look at Dave, and Dave's like, we're not doing that, are we? And I go, well, it's possible, but I want to get squared up to it because the line that was coming in was off camber, and I didn't want to be off camber going into this freaking thing.
I know about that.
So I go, okay, let me do an Austin Powers at the top. So I do an Austin Powers.
I know about that.
Get it squared up and go, I'm like, I tell Dave, I go, here we go. And he fucking tightens up his lap belts and the harnesses.
Shoulder harnesses on?
Oh, yeah. Good, we had our harnesses on and everything. And
you're smarter than I thought, Dave.
Yeah. And so we head down, and the traction was very good. And I was able to go down, very controlled. And then at the bottom, you had to gas it because it was a loose, sandy, rocky exit. And we got out, and boom, now we're on War Machine. And I'm like, all right. So following him, and it just, some of this stuff looks damn near impossible when you see it for the first time. But you see tire tracks, so you know people have done it. But you're like, okay. And then, of course, Randy makes it look like nothing. And so I'm like, okay, well, I know I got to keep my tires here and driver's side here, and
you do realize
pick a
you're
line.
following a 3 times.
Exactly.
Right?
So we go over and boom, and then we end up over on more like cross country shit with some crazy obstacles, and then we end up on Arrowhead, and I'm like, all right, Arrowhead's another 10 plus rated trail.
My Wrangler made it.
No, your Wrangler, you just, no, don't bring your Wrangler on anything over like a 5.
Really?
Yeah. Don't even consider anything over a 5.
Okay, fuck you then.
Okay, I'm just telling you. No, because you're going to get into some situations, and we're just going to have to like light it on fire and walk away because you ain't driving it out of those 10 rated trails.
All right.
Okay.
Challenge accepted.
Okay, good. So
Not really.
we get up to Arrowhead, and there was this obstacle that it was a ledge, black tire tracks all over this thing, and it wasn't that bad. It was like maybe a 3 plus, maybe a 4-foot ledge, nothing bad, but it was dished out, and Randy goes around it, and I'm like, what the fuck? And so I get in there and I try one line, it slides over to the right. I try another line, it slides over to the right. It just kept filtering you to the center of this thing, and all 4 tires spinning, and you just couldn't do it. And I'm like, okay, I'm going really high left. I go really high left, almost roll over. I'm like, okay, that's not the line. And I fought this thing for a good, 5 minutes, and I go, fuck it. Now I know why Randy went around. So I go around it and come up,
king.
and Randy goes, I hate that freaking obstacle. I'm like, yeah, what the hell? It's just silly. It doesn't look bad, but apparently it's just like 4 wheel chocks. You just
and he's younger than you.
Can't conquer it. So
he figured it out before you did.
I'm like, just okay, fine. If he passed it and I passed it, it's okay. Then we get into some gnarly freaking cracks. And crack kills, man. So Randy goes in and has some issues, but makes it. He just working the obstacle and pulls up through it, and he gets to the top. And so I'm looking at it and start going in, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. And I get like 3/4 of the way through the obstacle, and I am wedged. Driver's front tire is way below me.
Oh yeah, you told me
wedged
about
up
this.
to a rock on the sidewall, and there's a fucking wall that you got to climb up. But it was so augured in, pushing downhill at an angle that you didn't have
pressuring on your front end.
It's super tons of pressure on the front. And driving and good operators of equipment or anything, you know your rig, you know what's going on, you fill it out, and I'm just like, I'm not pushing this because I am so wedged. I'm going to break something. And then I'm thinking, well, how the fuck am I getting out of here? Because even winching is going to be tough out of this situation, So I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden, Randy gets out of his rig and walks over to me and goes, can I give you some advice? I'm like, yes, please. He goes,
3-time king.
Take the rear out. And as soon as he said that, it just fucking, this light bulb went off. I'm like, yeah, fucking idiot. That's exactly what you need to do. So the rear was pushing the front end into the rock as the front's trying to climb. So if you take the rear out, now the front is just trying to climb. And sure as shit, as soon as I took the rear out, front wheel drive only, it started climbing up this wall. Beautifully, perfect. And then Randy gives me the 4 signal, like, put it in 4.
Jeez.
So I put it back into 4 and climb right out of this obstacle, and I get to the top, and I'm like, dude, thank you. That was a good teaching moment.
Did you have a right seat?
Dave Code. Oh. So I go, wow, that's cool. So we were sitting there talking about it. He goes, man, there was a lot of tension on that front end. You got a strong front end. And I go, yeah, I just did not feel comfortable giving it the woo pals at that point because I know it was bound up and things were not going to end well if I freaking tried to panic and gas out of it.
Were you at a point where you were worried about your oil pressure?
No, it wasn't a steep situation. You're going downhill, augering into a fucking 10-foot wall that you're trying to climb. Okay. So it just was cool, and that's how you learn is get into these, challenge yourself, challenge your vehicle. Know your vehicle limits. You know your vehicle. You know your personal limitations, but that's how you grow.
Your rig's limitations
is when you get into these situations and go, okay, this doesn't feel great. We're gonna brake if we push it, but and then you got somebody like Randy going, hey, just take the rear out, just
what does he know? He's only a 3-time king.
Well, it worked. I don't know, whatever he knew, it worked, and it was cool. But super Randy. Fun. We get back to camp, and it was the highlight of my trip.
Celebration.
It was the highlight of my trip to get back to camp in one piece. And, I went over and thanked Randy. I go, dude, that was a ton of fun. I said, I was not super excited about following you. Not that, it just was nerve wracking and anxious and anxiety. And it's like, I don't want to follow a fucking 3-time king out here in some of the hardest terrain, 4-wheeling that I've done. But, I grew a lot. Yeah. You weren't even fucking there. So shut up. So, but what we did that afternoon was a freaking blast, and it was like, okay, and I got some buggy cred from Randy Slauson, all right? He goes, when we got up to the top of that, I go, how cool is that? He's like, hey man, you did good. And I'm like, wait, I got some buggy credit from Randy Slauson. I'm like,
yeah, you did.
That was it. So that was the epitome of my trip right there. That was, I was on cloud 9 when we got back to camp, and of course celebrated with a libation or 3, and we had a great evening.
I heard you didn't drink much.
I didn't. We Dave Code and I, it was interesting. We started off the morning with our coffees and had a little shot of Noku bourbon. And it was so good. Nulu, we put Nulu. It was like Noku, but we put the Nulu
different
bourbon in there, and it was like, out on the trails and stuff was all LaCroix and Pellegrinos and shit. Man, the police force was out there strong.
That's what I heard.
So I didn't want to take any chances at all. There was no reason to do it, and these trails are hard enough. You need to have every freaking wit's end about you to make it through.
Baby, Wes. I mean, man, it sounds like there was a lot of enforcement going on.
Yeah, and then we saved it, get back to camp, and we partied, but there was only like one night that we really got rowdy. But other than that, no, it was mellow. We sipped on some fine bourbon, but nobody got over the handlebars in camp, which was great.
When you're drinking fine bourbons, you want to enjoy the flavors. I mean, that's it. Getting hammered is so freaking 1990s.
Well, look at you. You're approaching getting hammered right now.
I am. I'm drinking stolen whiskey right now. I'm aged 11 years.
So
this is my day off. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Well, there you go. So we had a wonderful smoked chicken dinner that night that Bill did on. We had the Traeger. He had his Traeger, and I had a Green Mountain Grill smoker in camp. So we
heard the food sucked.
It was terrible, horrible. But so then Thursday morning, this was the big day for James, the amateur rock crawl. And then
Samurai James.
Yep. Then we had to get the booth set up for the trade show there. Okay, so amateur rock crawl Thursday morning. We get over there at noon, and so James, yep, and I. So we go over there, and it was highly unorganized. Nobody knew what the hell was going on.
Are you serious?
Yeah. It was pretty pathetic, actually.
Wait. Everything's organized there.
No, it was highly unorganized. They had the 3 courses set up, but it was like, okay, you got all these great rock crawlers there. Haynes is there, Dave Wong, Bassanini, John Himble, I mean, Jacob Reeves. I mean, it just like the who's who in the competition rock crawling world. And I'm like, okay, so what's happening here? And then they had like a driver's meeting at noon, and it was like, okay, there's 3 courses, and we're going to do We Rock or Cow Rock style rules, I think they said.
Really?
So a little bit more lax, which is good for amateur rock crawl.
Sure.
And all right, anybody got any questions? I'm like, yeah, I got a shit ton of questions here. So we ended up going out and walking the courses, and the mentors were out there. So it was cool. Got to walk each course with different mentors, and a couple of them paired up with us and gave us insight, and that was super cool. So then it was like, okay, you were supposed to have a mentor, in between rounds, and somebody that like follow you or whatever. And they were like, no, they're just floating around. So we ended up pulling Dave Wong in with us, and he gave us some good insight. So we started on course 2. There was 3 courses.
Okay.
Course 2 was like the each one got progressively harder in our opinion. Like 1 was the easiest, 2 was second, and then
So would
3rd
you-
was the hardest.
If you start on 2, would you
Then you go to 3 and then
one?
back to 1.
Okay.
So,
So you
we
finish on the easiest trail.
well, that's what we thought, but it was our hardest. So we start on 2, and I'm like clarifying. There was 2 judges at each course, and so I'm clarifying. There's bonus lines and gates and stuff, and so I'm like, okay, we go in between these green cones here for our first bonus, and it's a drop off on a wall. And James and I had walked it and go, yeah, we definitely can do this. You got the travel and everything. So we start heading over there, and they're like, no, you got to go to the right. And it's like, what the fuck? I just asked you if we could go there. And he's like, nope, wrong information. I gave you the wrong information. So the other judge says, okay, is that true? And the other judge is like, yeah, I gave him wrong information. So we had to back up and restart.
Holy shit.
So that was kind of a false start that sucked.
I would have thrown a flag.
Well, yeah, it was James was not happy, but anyways, we backed up, reset, and we go into the gate, and then we hit 1 cone and a second cone right out of the gate. I'm like, what the fuck? Here we go. So we ended up hitting 3 cones on the first course. It's tight, and the maneuverability is tough there on his Samurai.
Uh-huh.
But we did both bonuses. We completed. We went down that one and up another, and so that's 20 points extra that we ended up getting.
That's super
but
cool.
unfortunately, hitting 3 cones cost us. So I was like, damn it. So he was pissed, and I'm like, dude, this is for fun. Let's just keep going here. So then we get over to the 3rd course, and that's a tough one because there was some off camber. There was a place we had to go up and turn around. The bonus line was not an option for us. So we said, okay, we had a plan of what we were going to do and how this was going to work out. And so we ended up not doing the bonus, going around the first gate perfect, and then had to turn around. And unfortunately, he just did not have the turning radius. So I had to back up not once, not twice, but like 7 times. So that's 2 points every time. So it's like 14. We lost 14 points right there. So it's like, okay. But then we came down, put on a hell of a freaking show. Glenn Plake is announcing in Tacoma White, and Glenn's, calling us out because he wheeled with us up at Meadow Lake there, Fordyce, and was calling James Tippy Canoe. Well, little did he know that we got limiting straps on there now, so Tippy Canoe doesn't tip as much as it used to there, the Samurai, which was great. So we came down this off-camber section and was able to go down, turn around, and then start up this hill. And oh man, it was a rough go, but the crowd was cheering for us, and we were trying everything we could. We ended up completing the course. So we completed course 1 and course 2. And then we get in line for the 3rd and final course, which is 1, which is in our mind the easiest. Well, that didn't work out so well. We ended up going into there, and you had to straddle this, cross over this ravine, this trench, and trying to get James over where his passenger tire would catch on the other side of the trench. And it slipped in, and at that point we were screwed. Trying to move forward, the whole rig ended up slipping in, going sideways and getting wedged in this crack. And we ended up timing out. So unfortunately, didn't get to complete that course. But I think we got more points on that course than we did the second course with our penalties and backups and cones and stuff. But it is what it is. It took 2 winches to get out. Had to pull one to pull us backwards and one to keep from rolling over. But we put on a good show, had a good time. It was a great introduction to rock crawling at a competition level. I wish it was better organized, but I think for the first year it was very popular. There was a lot of people spectating, and I think next year it's going to be really good.
Super cool.
So looking forward to that. And then, so after that rock crawl competition, finally got to hook up with Jacob Reeves for an interview. He was there as one of the judges, and we were missing each other all week. He was working on his rig early week, and then, with all the other stuff going on in my arena, it was just like we couldn't connect. And so I told Jacob, I said, hey, after this amateur rock crawl, let's do an interview. So that worked out really well. Jacob followed us back to the camp and got to interview him, and man, can't wait. That interview is going to come out here on Tuesday after this episode. And what a cool kid. Definitely, I mentioned how he finished LCQ for Trailbreaker. He got in under 5 minutes on that course and had 15 minutes. So hell of a driver. He builds his own cars, fabricator. It's just, the kid's got some mad skills. So it was fun to sit down and chat with him. So
excellent.
And then that early evening into the evening was Weston set up Beat Not Baby Beach Party. So went down there and hung out and met some people there.
Any thongs?
He had his no thongs, which was good because it was mostly guys down there.
Jesus.
But he had his stickers out there and some shirts, and he had some those feathers, Beat Not Babied feathers, flags. So it was a legit setup and a bonfire they were building. But that was cool. So that was right near the...
Right down by the water, right?
It wasn't down by the water. They did it by the road and by the stage for the concert. So that was fun. And we got our booth set up for the trade show and all that stuff. So that was Thursday night. And we went back to camp, and Jay Barry and the Huntress and Jonathan... were in charge of dinner that night, and Jay Barry had the smokers running all night and like 16 hours smoked pork butt. Oh my God, Becky. It was so freaking good. And then Christina made a homemade barbecue sauce from scratch, and it was absolutely delicious. Best dinner of the trip for sure. It just
really?
Killed it. They killed it.
Better than the gourmet burgers?
It was.
Fuck.
I was super impressed, and so we're gonna have a Chef of the Hammers at King of the Hammers, and we Jay Barry and I are going to be battling it out there at King of the Hammers. So
butt or sauce from
bring it
from
bring it on. What's that?
Was it the butt or the sauce from Huntress?
Is the whole dinner was outstanding. I mean, it just everything from scratch and fresh right there in camp. So, I mean, they both married very well with each other.
Married.
How about that?
Okay, well, that's a good word.
Okay. So now it's Friday, fun day, Friday.
That's towards the end.
Woke up in the morning and
went wheeling.
We went wheeling. TNT, Dynamite, TNT.
Is that AC/DC?
Yes. And so went wheeling with Wrecked Gear again, Bronson and Jess, and some of their good friends. So we headed out on that trail, and I was excited because I hadn't been on TNT. I've heard a bunch of stories.
Is it really, you haven't been on that trail?
No, well, there's like freaking 50 trails out there.
So wait, what was that, like a 3?
Oh yeah, this is a Wrangler trail for sure.
Oh, sweet. All right.
This is where we get in.
I'm hanging with you.
This is where that picture of that green Joker buggy was standing straight up and down at 12 o'clock.
Shit, I could have.
That was TNT.
I could have done that.
So we get in there and some good obstacles at the beginning, and come up into this little ravine, and there's an optional line to the right and 4-steer buggy territory further up to the right, and then you go straight in this wash, and then there's the huge waterfall, and it's just totally washed out from these monsoons. So it is a, I don't know, 10-foot wall plus maybe 12 foot, near vertical. And so I'm watching this green badass buggy in front of me. Well, it's 2 rigs in front of me, and he goes up there and gives it a couple different tries and backs off like the 3rd try, and it starts to roll over, and he rolls over and stands it up on end. I mean, just straight up and down.
Right,
12 o'clock.
Perfectly perpendicular.
Perfectly perpendicular, resting on his ass. And I'm like, how does that happen? Never seen that before. So
we're in launch mode.
Had to winch. Guy crawled up to the very top front axle, hooked a winch up to pull the front end down, and then we hooked a winch to the bottom back driver's side to give it a little pivot and stabilize it, and that worked. It brought him back down to the rock, unhooked him, and he was able to try again, and he ended up making it up. So that was cool. The buggy that was in between me and him, shorter wheelbase. I'm a shorter wheelbase. I don't know what the green buggy was, but I'm going to guess he was somewhere in the 118 range, maybe 120 range wheelbase, and I'm 110. And so I go, okay. And the front end got super light. I mean, that's why he just stood it up on end. So then the next buggy was kind of a shorter, definitely shorter wheelbase than the green buggy. I think he might have been a little bit longer wheelbase than mine. But he ended up taking a winch. He didn't even try. He didn't even mess around with it. So now it's my turn, and I'm like, well, buggy's feeling good. I'm looking at this wall, and I drive up there, and I look up, and Nick Nelson is there, who's like just great freaking rock crawler too. And I look up, and I go, hey, Nick. And he's like, hey. And I go, dude, you got me? I'm like pointing to my eyes, pointing to him, like, you got me? He goes, I got you. And I said, okay. I said, I'm seeing this line on the left. And he goes, yep, you definitely want to hang hard driver on this rock. And so again, I think Dave was riding with me. Freaking tighten up the harnesses, Dave. This could be an e-ticket ride. So get up there and stick the nose into it. And I go, okay, this
I don't
feels.
think I would have been in there with you.
This feels pretty good. So let's see. No, so I take that back. Dave asked me. He goes, do you want me in or out? And I go, you know what? No offense, but I think I want you out. I don't know how this is going to react. One, and it definitely favors the passenger side, and I don't want a extra
300 pounds
weight over on that side.
Sorry, Dave. 300.
Yeah, so I go, Dave. He goes, dude, I get it, and I go, yeah, this. So I ended up setting up in there.
Get the fuck out.
No, I didn't say that. I gave him the option, but I was like, I just don't know what it's going to do here. And watching that other guy stand it up on end. So I get up in there, and I had to reposition once, and then Nick's like, you're good. Just get hard driver and get into it. And I was able to crawl right up that sucker, man. The traction hooked up. Obviously, the water in the front tires helped, and did the suck down winch, and it hooked up, and I was able to pull right up that thing. And so that was super cool. Got some buggy cred amongst some big dogs there up that obstacle.
You ditched Dave.
No, he got some great video though. And then just to give you an idea, so Crazy Dan was behind me.
Didn't do it.
And James was right behind me, so we ended up winching him. It's just too short a wheelbase, and he couldn't get the traction. He didn't have the
It's like a 34-inch wheel. That's right.
Yeah, right, 34. But then Dan was right behind him, and Dan had to take a winch as well. And
what crazy Nana to take a winch?
It was steep, dude.
It must have been a blow to his ego.
So, we get done with this trail, and it is Trail Breaker Friday.
Friday.
Yep. But okay, so we get done with this trail. So, man, there was a lot going on here. So, we come back to camp, have like this, lunch and stuff, and then Randy's got Gold Digger running again. They reprogram the computer so the fans come on or stay on, and he goes, "Hey, we got to go try this out. You want to follow me?" And I'm like, "Oh fuck, here we go." And now I'm following him in fourth steer buggy.
Follow fourth steer.
So
buggy.
Rhonda, Lady Samurai, jumps in the right seat in Gold Digger, and Dave. James rode right seat with me.
Where the hell is their rig?
Was it? No, it was Dave. I'm sorry, it was Dave. Dave was right seat with me on this one. It wasn't a night run. This was a day run.
Okay.
Right after our morning run, so this is early afternoon. So we go up, and of course, go straight over to freaking Joint Effort, our favorite trail, and so go up the waterfalls there. Dave's riding with me, and I get to like one of the last waterfalls, and I had a bad line, and I stood the buggy up on end, and we were going over backwards. I threw that freaking Moab off-road, the SHO shifter. You can flip it up. It automatically goes into reverse. Saved my freaking ass, man. I hit the throttle and pulled it right back down.
I hadn't heard about this.
And Dave goes, dude, we were going over, right? And I go, oh, fuck yeah, we were going over. And he goes, okay, don't do that again. And so I try another line, same thing, stand it up, I throw it in reverse, and then I almost roll over in reverse because now the passenger rear tire is climbing up the wall, and I stopped it just in time. I'm like, all right. Dave's like, all right, this isn't fun anymore. I said, I know. And so meantime, Randy's at the top going, what the hell's taking these guys so long? We're pussy. We're standing it up on end and almost rolling over backwards. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, so I go, hey, I need to get
Rodney
far left.
driven right the fuck up.
So I go far left, and I end up just hooking up perfectly, get a good line, and we crawl right up. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So we get up to the
anti-pussy
plateau up there, and I'm like, dude, I got to get back. We got to get over to Trail Breaker because this thing's starting here at 2:00. So he goes, you want to continue up the trail and cut over, or you want to go down? And I'm like, I said, oh, let's just go down. And then I regretted that decision after I said it, because going down those waterfalls is fucked. It's just fucked. It's not fun.
Going down is kind of fun.
No, I know. I'd rather climb an obstacle all day long than go down an obstacle, because I feel like I have way more control climbing an obstacle. So,
Padawan.
So I go, okay.
Going down's better.
Okay, well, there you go. So I start. Randy turns around. Of course, he's got four steer, so he like whips it right around and starts down the trail. So we start heading down these waterfalls, and you're just standing on your nose coming down these freaking waterfalls. And I'm like, okay, here we go. And those what was the first like 3, 4, 5 waterfalls? Now you're doing them in reverse, and it is like I say, it's like a left-hand turn, a right-hand turn, left-hand turn, right-hand turn. Well, going down, I had to get the buggy squared up to these walls and these waterfalls, because you don't want to hit them at an angle, because then you're going to roll for sure.
Right.
And without four steer, I'm watching Randy just work his buggy, and he's able to just get squared up on the walls perfectly each time. Shoot, rear steer, boom, rear steer, boom. I'm like, okay, I don't have rear steer, but I can work the transfer case in and out, front and rear digs. So I ended up getting to the first waterfall, went down, no problem. Second waterfall, I needed to get my ass end over to the driver's side. So I put the front where I wanted it, took the front out, had rear only, put it in reverse, and was able to rear dig the ass end over to the driver's side. I'm like, well, fuck, that worked out well. Pretty proud of myself. So put it back and forth.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
Yeah, Dave was like, dude, that was cool. And then we dropped down that waterfall. And then the next one, I had to like do a little front burn, got that squared up. And then the next one, I had to do a little bit of an Austin Powers and another rear burn there. So it actually was cool. Scary because it's super steep and the consequences are severe if you don't make it. But we made it.
Did anybody die?
Nobody died. We made it. It was fine. But it did. And, you know, going back to what I said earlier about when Randy came over and go, dude, take the rear out. And then light bulb went on. So I applied that to this trail. It's like, dude,
Which
you know,
goes to show that everybody can learn something new.
Start doing a you know, front rear burn, whatever you need to do to start using your tools, you know, and Dave Wong talks about that. You know, use the tools that you have, figure out the puzzle.
Old dog can learn new tricks.
So super freaking cool.
That's right, I called you an old dog.
Yeah, we made it down and then headed right over to Trailbreaker. So it was just getting started, and guess who shows up? We start to park, and this Willie shows up.
Pope John Paul III.
Yeah, it was. How'd you know?
Fuck it, was he in the Pope Mobile?
No, his name was Mike Austin, former podcaster.
Holy shit, Mike Austin and his Willies?
He shows up in the Willis. Yeah. So it was cool. Got to talk to him as I'm like, dude, let's go. I want to go see this.
How come he didn't answer his fucking phone the other day?
Yeah, right. So I said, hey, I want to go see this Trailbreaker, and so we walk over there, and I'm like, dude, you got your media pass? Oh, that's right, you don't have a podcast anymore, so no more media pass for you.
Yes, he has no cred.
So give him a little shit.
Whatever happened to the other guy, Max?
I don't know. Figment of the imagination.
I know we never met him.
Fagizzi. So go over, and so I lost him and the group because I had the media vest, and I'm like, dude, this is my favorite event. This is why I get the media pass.
To get run over by a rig.
I want to be front row for this shit, and it was so freaking cool. They had 3 courses set up that progress through. The drivers are in a tent, so they can't watch the other drivers' lines. They can walk the course prior to the event, but they couldn't watch where people were taking lines and if people were driving off obstacles forward or backwards. I mean, the very first course, I got there right when Jesse Haynes was starting course 1, and he backs off this freaking, 10-foot drop off like nothing.
Justin Hall would have done that.
And there's a video of John Himmel coming off, and he comes off a little funky off to the side and almost rolls, but he was able to gas it out. But it was just like, oh my gosh, just how they maneuver their rigs and this stuff is just insane.
Well, you can hear all that on episode 179.
Well, there you go. So Dave's became the Trailbreaker winner, but it was there's a few rollovers during the event.
Imagine that.
Yeah, Steve Nance rolled, unfortunately, in his fairly new buggy. But yeah, and then Jesse Haynes broke on the last obstacle. It was timed out. He had timed out, and they were yelling at him, time, but he kept going. He couldn't hear him. He was so focused on finishing the course, and unfortunately, he couldn't complete. Yeah, 15 minutes you have. So great event. So we stayed till the very end, congratulate Dave, we get photos with Dave. The crowd disperses, which is fine because everybody's got to funnel back through the tunnel to get back to the main park, right?
Funnel to the tunnel.
So I said, hey, I'm not in any hurry. So we work our way out of there, and most of the people had left. I'm like, perfect. So I'm heading back down to camp, and I get a phone call. I've got the phone up on the mob armor mount that's on the roll cage right there.
The Tesla. Buggy?
No. There's no iPad in there anymore. It's just the phone. Well, no, there's a lot of stuff. Anyways, so phone rings. Phone ring. Who's on the phone, Chris? Why don't you ask me who's on the fucking phone? Who called?
Pope.
Ghostbusters.
Huh?
Randy Slauson.
What does Randy want?
Randy Slauson. So I'm like, whoa.
Who the fuck is Randy Slauson?
So I pull over, shut off the buggy so I can hear the phone. And I go, hey, what's up? He goes, I need help.
Whoa.
I go, whoa, wait a minute.
Three-time King's
calling me for help? What do you mean you need help? where are you? He goes, I'm at the top of War Machine. I go, what's up? He goes, I broke. I go, in Gold Digger? He goes, yep. I go, okay, well, what do you think? And he goes, I think I need to get towed out backwards, and then I don't know from there. And I said, okay. Well, I said, we're on the beach. Let me turn around. So we turn around, head on a rescue mission up to the top there. So James and Rhonda, myself and Dave, and we're heading back up. Well, I pass by Trail Breaker course, and I go, shit. I wonder if Woody's still here. Woody Sweargen, the FJ40, I hate mud guy. Uh-huh. And I go, Woody knows this place like the back of his hand. He was running all recoveries for all the events. And I'm like, if he's around, we may need his help. So I'm looking, I don't see his rig, but then I look over and I see Woody and I go, oh shit. So I drive right over there real quick. I go over to Woody. I go, hey, Woody, Randy is stuck on the top of War Machine. Would you be able to help us out? He goes, yeah, but he goes, I've got the Toyota. I need to go get my buggy. I just, my wife drove the buggy back to camp. And I said, okay, well, we're going to head up to the top of War Machine. I know where that's at and see what's going on. He goes, yeah, I'll be up there in like 15, 20 minutes. Sure as shit. We get up there and I drive up and there's Holly Fowler with her, GoPro going, and Randy sitting on a rock.
All right.
Gold Digger wedged in this freaking crack.
Gold Digger in a crack?
I'm like, what is going on? What happened here? So I go, okay. So we had our laughs and stuff, and I look at it, and then, so he broke a rear U-joint in the 4-steer. On the driver's side, and it was just wedged. This tire was on a huge undercut wall, and he gave it the onion, and I guess it broke. So it's like, oh crap. So I'm like, yeah, at first from the top you're like, oh, we could pull you out forward. Well, there was no way. When you got down and looked at the car the way that it was wedged in there was no way you're going forward without breaking the car in half. So it's like, okay, this has got to be pulled out backwards.
Downhill.
Yeah, so I go, okay, well, in the meantime, after we were all just, laughing, having a good time, well, here comes Woody. And he looks at it and he goes, yep, got to go backwards. Well, he had a really cool technique. He's got this Raptor rope, they call it, from JR rigging there, JM rigging. And it's basically like a 8-10 foot rope, heavy duty, and he threaded it through the wheel and up to the top of the tire, and then hooks the winch to it. And then so the winch cable is in the center of the tire and on top of the tire. So as you pull with the winch, it's rotating the tire out of the wedge.
Wait.
Rotating the tire out of the wedge.
Rear tire, front tire, driver's side, passenger side?
Tire that's stuck. It's the driver's rear.
Driver rear.
So ended up unwedging it, and it took like 3 times. You had to reset the rope, right, as it came back down to the bottom. And so it kept undoing the stress and tension on that tire and that wedge, and it worked beautifully. And then ended up putting a winch to his ass end and pulled him backwards. He was able to fire up the Gold Digger and back it out of there.
Okay.
Got him in, but then you get down, and now the end of the trail's right there, but there's 2 big obstacles to get out. And that one of them was the one that he was wedged in. And so it's like, okay, where are we going from here? And Woody goes, hey, it's probably better we'll backtrack, go over these other 2 obstacles downhill, and get you out to the sand highway here and home.
No bypasses.
There's no bypasses. This is serious hardcore wheeling here. So, and Randy's like, yeah, it seems to be working fine. Even with the half broken U-joint in there.
So it's a U-joint, not an RCV.
No, not an RCV. So it was binding up under full lock, but if you didn't spin the wheel, then it was fine. You weren't doing a full turn rear steer. And so he was able to drive out. And so we hop back in our rigs, go back out around to the sand highway, and we get, almost to the tunnel. And so I'm like, okay, let's wait here for them to catch up to us, make sure they don't need any help or towed to camp. So I text Holly, nothing. Text Randy. And about 5 minutes later, Randy, I'm like, hey, we're on the Sand Highway waiting for you. If you need help. He goes, well, I'm waiting for you at camp with a beer. Get over here. I go, what? You beat us back to camp in a broken freaking rig?
Dude, 3-time king.
James and I look at each other and go, there's no fucking way. No, he did. He beat us back to camp.
3-time
exactly.
king.
With a broken freaking car.
3-time king.
So I'm like, okay, that's pretty freaking cool. So we go back to camp.
Never underestimate a 3-time king.
Taco night. So we get back to camp late.
Ooh,
like,
was it Tuesday?
It was Taco Friday. And then we had the Colt Ford concert. So it's like, okay, hurry up, get cleaned up, eat dinner, and head to the concert. So Colt Ford went on at 9:00. So we finished up dinner around 8.
Shitty seats.
And there was no seats. It was all standing room. We got over there, and it was freaking awesome, man. I worked up with Dave and I and Randy and James and Rhonda. Johnny was there. Dirtbag Johnny had gotten into town
DBJ?
there. Yep. He got into town Thursday. So we all work our way over and start working our way up near the stage. And I was like second row standing. And it was pretty steep. There was a split rail fence, and then it got pretty steep, and then it leveled out to sand. But there was this like, little hill there.
Sand, you say?
So I go, okay. I've got a good place here. I'll just stand here and watch the concert. And there's this gentleman in front of me, and he looked back, and I have my Colt Ford shirt on. I'd seen him like 6-7 times live, and
we saw him live in Vegas.
Yep. So I go, okay, this is fine. And he turns around, he sees the shirt. He goes, yeah, you're a Colt Ford fan. And I said, yes, I am. He goes, oh, well, this is my wife. Introduced her, and he goes, I'll stand behind her. You could be front row. And I'm like, all right, I'll take that. So I was front row, center stage for the whole concert. It was freaking awesome. Put on a hell of a show. And so concert finish up, and he did a Linkin Park cover song that was,
awesome.
Oh my God, it was so good. And he did Work It On, which was, special song for us.
Right.
And just a really, really good concert. So we get done, and we're BSing and stuff. And, I mentioned, they were throwing out drumsticks and guitar picks and all this stuff, right? And I go, damn, I wish I would have got the set list, that they have up on stage there. And James disappears, comes back like 5 minutes later with a set list. I go, holy shit. And he hands it to me. He goes, here you go. I go, how the hell did you get that? He goes, I know people. I'm like, okay, that's freaking awesome.
Samurai James?
So, yeah, Samurai James. So I go, okay, I got this set list. I need to have Colt Ford freaking sign this thing, right? So security this isn't a normal concert venue. It's a little lax.
In the middle of nowhere.
So I'm like, and I go, okay, I'm like, we got to go. We got to get over this little split rail fence. So we hop the split rail fence. Now we're backstage. I see the bass player, and he was getting into this van, this minivan. And then I see
down by the river.
Yeah. And then so I see Rich and a bunch of other people, and I'm like, hey, where's Colt Ford? And they're like, I think he's in the RV. Well, I'm not going to go into the motorhome. It was a big tour bus type motorhome there. It wasn't his tour bus, but it was their staging one that they were using for the bands. And so sure as shit, he walks out and gets in the passenger seat. Colt Ford does. And I'm like, oh my God. And he closes the door. And he closes his eyes. I mean, he's physically spent. He gave it all, man. He put on a hell of a show.
I would imagine so.
So I just kind of got in his peripheral vision towards the front of the van there, and he opens up the door and he goes, hey, how's it going? And I go, hey, Colt. I said, hell of a show. Thank you so much. I said, I got this set list. Would you mind signing? He goes, heck no. And I hand it to him, and he's like, you got a pen? And I go, nope, don't have a pen. Well, somebody's got to have a pen. And so they're in a rental car, obviously. So there's no pen in the, anybody got a pen? You got a pen? No. And they're looking in the glove compartment. No freaking pen.
Fuck.
So they're opening up, yelling at people, the backstage.
Need a pen,
anybody got a pen? And I'm like, somebody's got to have a freaking pen around here. Nope. no pin. And I'm
say
like,
it in Spanish, La Pluma,
no.
Lapis.
So I go, Colt, I said, don't worry about it. I get it. He goes, yeah, catch me at the next one. I said, definitely. You know, I said, that's cool. I get it. But it was cool just getting to interact with him. And
Did he recognize you from back in the day?
I didn't go into the entire story, but I did say quickly, I said, hey, I appreciate you playing Working On. That was a special song for us that, you know, you put into the set list that wasn't on your set list for Wheatland. And so the concert that you did in Wheatland a few years ago, and he's like, and I mentioned Brayton's name, and he's like, oh yeah, I remember your crew rolling out there, because there was like 30 of us that we got to do a meet and greet backstage with him and he spent like 40 minutes with us.
I know, right?
That was
Rest
super freaking cool. So
yeah,
very nice. So awesome night. You know, Friday night. And then, so Saturday morning, now we're on Saturday and then getting towards the end
time
of the trail here. Now Sunday's time to go home, but Saturday, you still got a full day.
Oh, shit.
And I look over at James and I go, dude, we got to go wheeling. There was a couple like pseudo trips that were, you know, oh, we're going to go here, we're going to go there. Well, nothing was coming to fruition. I go, dude, we got to go out wheeling. He goes, yeah, where do you want to go? And I go, hey, let's go out to the Fallen. And I said, that's, you know, favorite trail. Now joint efforts up there, now that I've run it a bunch of times. But I'm like, let's go do Fallen. He goes, great idea. So we work our way up to the Fallen Trail, and it was just James, Rhonda, and I, Dave Code's cousin rode with, nephew rode with me, Caleb.
Oh, he was there?
Yeah, so he came in on Friday and went to the concert, and he got to the just in time for the trail breaker and stuff. Yeah, so he got he was there for a short time, but he saw everything in that short time, which was great. So we headed up to the Fallen, and so Caleb was riding with me last year on the Fallen when at the very end of the trail, the big crack, and I laid it on its side. So I said, well, I hope to do better this year.
Redeem yourself?
It did. It was great. We went up there. There was a group of people at the beginning of the trail that were in their Jeeps that were just watching, and they were fun. I ran up and gave them a bunch of Wheeling Wine and Whiskey stickers. Yep. So we went through the trail relatively quickly because it was just the two of us. Did the obstacles, did the Z-turn. That's my favorite little section there. It's so much fun right before the crack, and then get up to the crack, and then I'm like, okay, you know, let's get in position, and obviously learned from my mistakes last year. I was way too high up on the wall on the passenger side last year, and so this year I'm like, okay, let me just get the ass end over.
Can a Jeep do it?
Barely. Can what?
A Jeep do it?
Yeah, Jeeps have done it. Yeah. So
that's not that hard.
No, it's a piece of cake. You would have no problem at all in there.
All right,
it's super easy.
I'm going.
Yeah. So made it up. And then James, it took him a little while to get lined up. He got lined up and walked right up it as well. And
if a samurai can do it, I can do it.
Right. And then we went up the trail, and a couple good obstacles there. James ended up getting high centered on one deal. I had to turn around and yank him off of that real quick. But then it ends up at the memorial at the top of the trail, which is super freaking cool. It's at a high point.
Right.
They got the American flag up there, and then, you know, the benches for all the, you know, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, you know, everything, all our freaking first responders are represented right there, right?
Cool.
These military branches. And then there's all these little natural holes and crevices and stuff in the rock, and then there's dog tags in there, and just, you know, pictures and, you know, little coins and stuff to the, you know, fallen warriors, so a memorial, and it's super moving when you walk into this and see all that stuff. And it's like, and you're looking down at this beautiful view, and just, you know, you just did this trail, and it's a surreal moment, and just a really special place there at Sand Hollow. And if you go and you've never been to Sand Hollow, you have to go and check that out, because it is freaking just America on high.
Oh, I hope to be there next year.
Yeah. And it was cool. Before we walked up to the memorial, there was a group ahead of us that they'd finished the trail and they had gone up to the memorial, and then they came down, they were eating lunch, and so I was handing them sticker stuff. Well, they ended up being from Minden and Gardnerville area, and knew Randy. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Ended up talking to them. So then we headed back down to camp and went over to the vendor show. And so Randy was able to get Gold Digger down to the vendor show and had it in the booth with Tire Wright, Kobe and Alicia, and then Dirtbag was there, Johnny and Schmitty, and they had a hell of a display of hats and their shirts. The Big Zip, the Big Zip
love the Big Zip
is a popular one. So that was good. We had the Element fire extinguisher little display there. So, yeah. So I ended up bouncing back and forth. I met back up with Bronson because he did he does a segment called Wrecked Rigs, and so it's basically he showcases these vehicles. So he did one on Gold Digger, obviously, this brand new freaking badass 4-steer bomber buggy.
It's mine now
with Randy. Yeah, now with yours. And then and he goes, dude, I want to get your rig on there, and I'm like, okay, cool. So we're like, okay, we'll do it this. That didn't work out. Do it. No. So it finally worked out. He's like, hey, we'll do it Saturday. I'm running a trail in the morning, the BFG run, area BFG, they call it. And he goes, after the run, let's do it. So he came back. We ended up meeting up on the beach, and he did the wrecked rides on my buggy, which was, cool. And he got all these different photo and video angles and had a drone up in the air. And I'm like, wow, this is, freaking legit.
Wow.
So it was cool to circle back with him after interviewing him and Jess, and then going and running with him a couple days and then doing that. So that was fun. So then I hauled ass back to the vendor area and hung out in the booth, and then I went and walked the vendor show real quick just to see who was there and
stuff.
Did you
sell any extinguishers?
Yeah, sold quite a few. And then came back and we closed it out. They had the big raffle there. Unfortunately, we didn't win. It was so fun because James and I got the hardcore pass, so that entered us for a winch and tires, BFG stickies.
You win shit.
And so they call, and you had to be present to win. So they call a name. Nope. So they go through like 10 names, and then they call Jason so-and-so. I'm like, oh my God, you're freaking giving me a heart attack. Glenn was calling the numbers too, or calling the names.
Play?
And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh shit. And then right after me, they call James so-and-so. It's like, James looks at me, fuck. So we were just like, this is brutal. So like a couple more names, and then they ended up calling somebody that was there. So it was like, shit, okay, tires are gone. And then, then they called a couple names, and then the winch was gone.
You don't need any
damn
shit. You got Jason money. You don't need
Yeah, no, I don't have Jason money. And so I was like, I'll take a set of fucking 42 Reds. No problem.
Those tires are good. You're golden.
Mm-hmm. So, we ended up getting back to camp late after
42 Reds will work on a day of 30.
Yeah, then not so good. So get back after breaking down the vendor show and stuff, get back to camp later, and I'd circle back with Dave Wong, and I go, hey, I want to, now that you've won Trailbreaker, congratulations, let's get you back on the podcast for a follow-up. So we ended up recording that Saturday evening. And as that we start recording the podcast, then Filter came on stage, and they were freaking had the volume cranked up to 11. And so they were super loud, even from our camp. But it was cool because we were kind of at the concert without being at the concert
but I
physically.
filtered that shit out.
Yeah, you did a good job. So
I filtered filter out.
That was a good one. You filtered filter out, yes. And then started packing up, and I was so freaking tired. I got like stuff around my camper, but I didn't get the trailer hooked up or anything like that. Bless you. And so I go, okay, I'm just going to get up in the morning and play it by ear. I might stay a little bit longer. I might leave in the afternoon. Who knows? I'm not going to rush out of here. So woke up. Our goal was James Rhonda and Dave was like at 7 a.m. Let's rendezvous. So I get up at 7, and I expected Dave to be gone, and he was still there. And I'm like,
Dave Code?
So have some coffee and talking to Dave. James comes out and he goes, "So what are you thinking?" And I go, "Dude, I got another couple hours of packing. So if you guys want to go, go. But I'm not leaving anytime soon." And Dave goes, "No, I'll hang out, and wait. I want to go together with everybody. We came in together. Let's leave together." Okay.
Traveling.
So ended up getting the trailer hooked up and getting everything set up and loaded. And then went down to the Plakes camp, had to say goodbye to them. And we said all our goodbyes. So we ended up leaving camp around 10 a.m. So a little late.
Yeah.
But it was fine. Had a smooth trip home. Ended up getting to Harris Ranch, around, I don't know, 7-ish or something. It was just starting to get dark. So probably like 6:15-ish.
So it's off the I-5 and Central California.
It's about 2.5 hours from home for me, and 2.5-3 hours for the Sacramento boys, Cody.
Yeah.
Davenport. So I go, I'm done. I'm not driving anymore. I'm staying here tonight. I'm going to go get a nice steak dinner and call it. And they're like, okay, cool. And Dave's like, I'm just going to go to the bathroom and hit it. I got to get home. And so he went to the bathroom, took off, and then James and Ronnie go, well, we're going to eat. They got a barbecue place there.
That's
nice
super good.
Tri-tip barbecue.
It's like fast food.
Yeah, it's way better than fast food.
No, but I mean,
it's quick.
It's good fast food.
Yeah. So they got some sandwiches, and I poured myself a glass of wine in the camper and joined them for their sandwiches. Yeah, that was the first glass of wine I think I had the whole trip.
That's parking under the influence.
So, I was parked for the night, and then they left, and then I went into the steakhouse, had a nice T-bone steak and baked potato, and had a real nice meal. And went back to the camper and nighty-night.
For people that don't know, camping, so parking at Harris Ranch, I mean, you park between the hotel and the restaurant. They have a big parking lot there. It's the security is optimum. They probably drive by every 5 to 10 minutes, and you're not going to get hassled. They fully expect people to kind of hang out there in the parking lot. Well, not hang out, but to camp overnight. You're not allowed to camp there for multiple days at a time. But if you're passing through, you're Harris Ranch on I-5 in the Central Valley of California, you are going to be, that's a great place to stop to camp if you need to rest for the night.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And they're building an RV park now. So,
are they?
Yeah. We're going to have to pay in the future, I guess.
Oh, fuck. I hope not. Well, I mean, thinking about, because they got the big rig parking area, and that's an area you don't want to go because the big rigs are in and out all night long, and of course there's an airport there too, which you obviously don't want to park on the runway. But.
No, yeah, that doesn't work.
But I mean, it's still, I think, as far as a stopping point if you're traveling through the Central Valley and you're tired and you want to get a great meal or fill up your truck or rig. It's still a hell of a deal. I don't know about the RV park thing, but
it could be good. Be good. So, anyways,
full hookups wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, good spot. And then, so I woke up the next morning and headed home, and got home in daylight so I could unload the buggy and everything in daylight instead of late at night, and so it worked out great. James and Rhonda got home that night, and Dave, so it was good, and that was the end of the trip, and it was
and the PPB
happy to be home, but sad to be home. It was just a wonderful event with a great group of people, and the people I met.
No, wasn't that great? I wasn't
and
there.
Going out wheeling, man, you need to make it happen because this is just such a cool deal, and with the golf tournament, getting to play in that this year, and I mean everything. We just just good stuff. So put it on your calendar for next year. Make it happen because it is something that you just need to experience in your four-wheeling career at one point at least.
The whole golf thing really rubs me wrong. That shit needs to be legit. Well, as far as scoring,
it's for charity and done deal. But having played competition golf for several years and being in the business, it was like, really, people, this just doesn't work out. But whatever. So whatever. I was able to lay my head on the pillow that night, knowing that we played well and we had fun.
Sandbagger.
So With that, man, I don't know. I'm done. I ran out of notes here. I'm sure that I missed a few things, and you're drunk, so you need to go to bed because
drunk.
you keep interrupting me.
Totally
so you know,
fuck you.
See, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'm at my house. I can do whatever.
Lorenzo's
my
like,
house.
dude, cut him off. Cut him off.
Fuck you, Lorenzo.
Yeah.
I'll cut you.
So, with that, let's put a bow on this episode, Chris.
Well, how do we do that?
We are going to say we're out.
Well, we're going to do that after we say how we can get a hold of us.
Oh, okay. You going to take that part?
I will.
Okay. I'm going to drink some water.
Really? Hydrate?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cut Lorenzo first. All right. If you want to get a hold of Jason, Chris, or Lorenzo, you can do that at Jason, Chris, or Lorenzo at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com. Or you can reach us on our phone number, voicemail only, 408-800-5169. You got that number right, Jason? What's that number?
That's 408-800-5169. 408-800-5169.
Right.
So,
and then don't forget about the Instagram where you can catch us at wheelingwinewhiskey.com. Or, of course, never forget about our website, www.wheelingwinewhiskey.com, where there's so much going on. You can catch all of our episodes there, plus our merch, plus our Barrel Society at Irate 4x4. All the links are there. We definitely appreciate all of our patrons, or well, not patrons, but we do appreciate our patrons and our Barrel Society
members. Yes.
If you like the show or love the show, please spread the word, and hopefully everybody that hears about us can support us. And beyond that, we love all of you, and keep on loving us.
Chris is ready to go to bed. All right. With that,
we're out.